Actually, I have a question for you.
Yep. We're live.
It's a,
But,
it's a,
yep.
se- no, no, no. It's not a spoiler question. Charles from the Explorers.
Yeah.
Actually, not even Charles. Perrin, right? From Scarlet Violet, right?
hmm
Would you say giving her like Weavile makes sense? Like, what Pokemon would you give her outside of like Arcanine or
Perrin.
Growlithe? Like,
Uh,
would you give her another regional variant? Would that make
I
sense?
think I think a Hisuian Sneasel works very well
That's
if you
what I
want to
was
go
thinking
that.
of,
It,
but I was like, do I
honestly,
want to
it
double up?
if
Do
it
I want to
kind
double up on Hisuian forms?
I think you could. I mean, it's like she already has an unexplained Hisuian Growlithe, so adding Hisuian Sneasel isn't like, oh my
The
god,
other
what
one
are
I
we
was thinking
doing?
of, the other one I was thinking of is like Leafeon because that's
Hmm.
what Adamant had.
Oh
So
yeah, no,
I feel like that.
Leafeon also very fitting with her design.
I think I'm gonna go with Leafeon just to
Hell
just to
yeah.
hit the nail on the head. You guys get who she's related to?
Yeah. Anyways, what's up, fuckers? Um,
Hi D Stream.
yeah,
That's how I call you guys, the D Stream.
the B Street. Yeah. Um, but yeah, what's up, guys? We're gonna give it a minute, like we do usually every stream we do now, where we just let people roll in. But
Let me load up the stream on my end so I can see the chat.
yeah. I can also link you if you want. I got them pulled up on my end, the community posts with a few questions on them.
Oh no, that's true. I'm literally on your channel right now.
Okay,
I
sick.
literally just pulled it.
Yeah.
Plus, I remember
Yeah.
I remember the question for the question that was asked specifically to me.
Yeah.
I remember that question.
Yeah.
None of the other ones.
Man, we got a lot of people in here right now. What's
Oh,
up?
geez.
Axo,
You want a
Magalore,
companion stream?
Phantom Derek. Yeah, like we got like, the stream so far on my end or in my notes has not loaded in the concurrent viewers, but the chat's popping off, which is great.
Oh, that's great. So, no, they're like a companion stream. Oh, this is about to be a movie.
Yeah, we're gonna go over the whatever. We're gonna talk about companions today.
Intricacies.
And we're basically, guys, what we're doing today. If you've never been to a writing stream, this is Samurai Trainer Z, fellow writer, series creator. And the guy I bounce most of my ideas off of. So, and basically what we do on these is we just go over writing Pokemon series in general. If you've watched the first two, we cover those in a more general sense, but we thought we'd get specific here and talk about writing companions. Because it's really hard, man. It's hard to do this shit.
I would say it's hard. It's more that it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
Hold on, guys. Gonna have to go answer the door.
Yeah, I'll entertain these guys real fast because they're asking stuff. But yeah, what's up, guys? Yeah, also do not pay attention to the visuals on the screen. I just took all my companion art I did, for like the third video I ever made and threw it up here because we're talking about companions today. So this is not a visual, but we will actually be going over a lot of these groups because some topics we're going to be talking about are, what are the kind of key things you need if you're going to build Ash companions? Because there's more thought to it than most people think. Why does Tracy look weird? Because I just drew him weird for fun. But what is up, everyone? Thanks for coming.
I'm back.
Yeah. Welcome back. I love Phantom Derek said, based on my stream screen with all the companions, Dolly put the Callus Gang alone because they would infect others with bad writing.
With their Frenchness.
Yeah. We seclude the French. Go to the corner of shame.
I love how you said we seclude the French in a French accent.
Yeah. I've infiltrated them.
You say that?
I don't know. V for Vendetta. I don't know. Something. Are we giving Ash's companions new teams? No. So what we're doing is we're basically going to answer questions you guys have given us and going over uh, just like what it takes to write companions. It's actually a conversation me and Abdul here were talking about like a few days ago, and then Abdul finally has time off, so he's just like, we can make this stream, and it's like, oh fuck yeah, we can do another one of these.
Well, yeah, because apparently the chat was like asking for when the next one was gonna happen. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, like if they're asking, no, might as well.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna be doing over that. Can you replace Serena with a Jinx in XY?
God, your fan base does not like Serena. My word.
I really like Stockholm syndrome them into submission. Like, I'm sure a bunch of them were Serena fans before they came to my channel, but
yeah,
I'm just such a good hater. So I guess man, where do we start off with this?
I mean, should we start with answering the questions from the YouTube post and then go into the advice?
Yeah, we'll go. We're gonna do so. If you are on the community tab and you guys post questions, we'll answer those first. And I am reading the chat. So is Samurai Hunter Z. So if we don't immediately address what you say in there, don't worry. We're aware of it. So I think probably a good one to start off with is what's the process for selecting companions in their Pokemon?
All right. Do you want to go first? Or?
Yeah, totally. The way I've always done it is every person you put with Ash seems like they could be, interesting. Like it's like I'll give you an idea, because I was going over Johto companions, and there are three groups I came up with. Kind of. First one was Will and Karen. The other was Morty and Whitney, and then I didn't have a female trainer for this, but the idea of Tracy. And each of those kind of address a different issue when you're choosing companions, because it's very, like, I love the idea of Will and Karen or Morty and Whitney as Ash companions. Like, instantly, like, that's one factor of it, of like, okay, you have to have an interesting dynamic, because especially if you're doing multiple regions, because what you don't want is the same group repeated every time. You want some diversity here, where if all of Ash's friends got together, say at a world tournament of some kind, they would stand out. But for a quick summary of why I think none of those worked for me, because those are not the Johto companions, by the way, which is why I'm bringing them up. You guys will find out who the Johto companions are when I do the trailer video. Will and Karen, very good on paper, because I've given Will a very distinct personality in my head that he does not have in real life. And Karen has a very distinct personality, and both are popular characters. That is also a factor you kind of have to think about if you're trying to do YouTube. Not too much. It depends. It's something at least
you said both are popular characters. Karen, okay. Will, all right.
He is very important to me.
No, that's literally what it is. I like him.
Yeah.
Just me. I get it. It's like me with all my favorite. It's like me with all my guys, where it's like everyone has that one character that they're like, yeah, it's super popular.
By the way,
to
add to that, Dark Dragon with the who is Will? Like, of the Johto Elite Four,
a recognizable name. It's Will.
Yeah, Will of the Johto Elite Four. No, like on paper, it's like having two Elite Four members travel with Ash, kind of cool. Like, it's really cool. He's traveled with gym leaders before, so why not Elite Four? The biggest problem I found with that is that there is no danger whatsoever. Like, I either have to weird up the timeline and make Will and Karen around Ash's age, which even then, what would their goals be? Because they ain't they would obviously be going for Elite Four, so why wouldn't they also be competing in the gym challenge? And then I'm like, I'm gonna have 3 gym battles every time, and it's a huge mess, and when you have Elite Four, if you're power scaling correctly, if you have Elite Four members, there's no Team Rocket, whatever outside the world threat, unless you're doing godlike legendaries that could really challenge Ash, because he has 2 instant win buttons with him. So that was kind of the problem with there. Morty and Whitney, it was a little bit of it's kind of a repeat of Brock and Misty, even though I didn't do Misty in my verse, but as a companion. But also the idea of like it just like that. This is kind of another factor for me, at least, where vibes kind of matter. It feels weird for Ash to go fight one of the gym leaders that is friends and then do it again, back to back, literally. And then also there's the factor of like, well, if Morty and Whitney are traveling with Ash, who's minding the gyms? Because it's not like Brock and his dad, where you have a very clear, like, his dad can run the gym, and you're like, okay, someone's taking over there, and it doesn't matter that Brock's traveling with Ash. Misty has her sisters, like, there's people taking their places. You literally, unless you do, like, you could do, like, the Kimono Girls for Morty or something, but, like, Whitney has no one. So you kind of have to create characters for both in a way to take over the gyms, and even then, it's weird. And Tracy, for me, was, in my view, at least when I'm doing this series, is that there is an element of popularity when I choose my characters, where it's like, I could just create OCs if I wanted to, but like, Tracy just doesn't have that star power that if I'm doing a Johto series, which is going to be a sequel, which already then that kind of when you do sequels, they put it on the back foot because people are like, I don't want to watch an entire previous series to know what's going on here. Like, you don't know how many people will be jumping in fresh into your second series. So I was just like, Tracy doesn't have the star power to draw in. But, you know, for me, it's always about like, you need to be able to give this character a clear goal that is measurable, you know, like, and if they don't have a measurable goal like Brock, they got to be doing something throughout the series or assisting in some way or helping in some way so they don't feel like they're doing nothing. You can go, Abdul. I just went for a long time.
No, it's chill. But yeah, pretty much I agree with what you said, where I think a lot of the companions, like to reiterate, the question was, how do you pick Ash's companions, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the question, right? The
Yeah.
question was, how do you pick Ash's companions? Right? Yeah. So like, yeah, just basically to reiterate what Dolly said, it's you want to make sure you pick companions that again are distinct from each other. I think something very important is you want to know what the group dynamic is before you even get started. Like, are these like casual school friends? Is this like a found family? Like, you want to figure that out. Like, like fandom asked in the chat if we're going to talk about my series. I'm not going to talk about SV right now, but I'm going to talk about Sword and Shield. For like Sword and Shield pre-production, which makes it sound like it's a big thing. Oh, Sword and Shield pre-production. By that I mean on the Google Doc that I wrote. On the Google Doc that I wrote, the original plan for Sword and Shield was not Chase and Elaine. It was supposed to be Victor and Marnie. Part of the reason why Marnie was not added into the final draft is because I had no idea what to do with her, and that's okay. I think you should be able to have multiple drafts of like what your Ash companion series will be. Obviously, the region comes to an account, but like again, I think Marnie could have been cool. I just had no idea what her and Ash's dynamic would really be, if that makes sense. Not to mention, I just kind of wanted to be different. If I'm going to keep it a buck, with Victor, he would have just been Chase. But I was like, oh, if I'm going to use Elaine from Sword and Shield, not Sword and Shield, if I'm going to use Elaine from Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, might as well just use Chase. Might as well. Like, might as well. Another part of it is like if you're making, we're gonna use Sword and Shield. If you're making a Sword and Shield series, for an example, I think they're like it also comes into a kind of like, has this been done before? Where obviously the most common answer for a Sword and Shield series is Hop and Gloria, and I get it. It's probably what the anime would have done. It's probably what the anime would have done. So I get why it's such a I'll do that. For me, I didn't want to do that because I saw it being done so often. So I wanted to be different with the Victor and Marnie thing. And then it went to Chase and Elaine being derivative from that. So I think another thing that comes into it is, do you want your series to stand out? And obviously, you don't have to be different, because I feel like forcing yourself to be different when you don't want to do it will seep in through your writing because you won't like the characters you're writing. So I think it's more of a hint, not even a hint, more of a suggestion to like, oh, has this been done before and how are you doing it different? Where the group dynamic between Ash, Chase, and Elaine is very much older brother, two younger siblings, which, you know, Ash has definitely had sibling-esque relationships. Like you could say Ash and Brock have a very older brother, younger brother relationship in canon, but he's never been the older brother in a dynamic. And while you could say, oh, Ash and Bonnie don't interact enough for you to feel that. I would love for it to be like that, but Ash and Bonnie don't really interact like that. for Max, it's very clear that if he has a sibling relationship with anyone, it's his actual sister.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not that they haven't been there, but it's just that like there's other relationships that kind of stop that from happening with Ash specifically. So for my series, it was cool to finally get Ash to have that kind of relationship. But that's what I would go for when picking an Ash companion. The group dynamic, it hasn't been done before, what you're gonna do differently, and overall, what are you going to do with them? What is their thing going to be?
Quiznos asked that like, so should at least one companion be a familiar face? And it depends on what you mean by that. I think if you mean like a recognizable character, like, yes, I think at least one should be like, if you want to go wholly original with one, at least one should be like a character that people can recognize. It doesn't like, you could still do cool and unique stuff, but like, there are kind of levels to it, because especially if you are using an original character, and for the most part, if you do a lot of like, if it's a completely original, by the way, not like, you're using a main character from the games, like wholly original character, never, no one's ever seen it before, it's all your own. If you're doing that, you will have to be proving them a lot more than others and stuff. And it's not necessarily the worst thing to do. It can be a lot creative. A lot of people will typically choose protagonists from the games because you get a recognizable face in there that people will point to and go, I like that, automatically by default. But you can do your own things with them because there is no personality. It's like kind of like the funny problem where I see people go, if will you replace Iris with Hilda? And it's like, every person I feel like who asks that has a different idea of what Hilda is in their head, or they just hate Iris, but like, it's not like there's like an agreed upon Hilda personality that people are like, yeah, that's Hilda's character right there, Like, some people are thinking about the manga, some people are thinking about like just funny fan art they've seen, some people are thinking about like the, it's Tuesday in it meme.
Pokemon fans are so funny.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. That was just so overplayed. Oh my god.
Yeah. There is one Twitter account I know that posts that every Tuesday.
Look, I know it's no question. Muhammad asked this question in the chat. He said, when writing a traveling companion, how would you portray them impacting Ash and vice versa? Well, I think it's more like, again, it comes down to what is their relationship with Ash, where it's like I'm gonna use some of my own writing, but then I'm gonna also use some of the anime kind of writing. Let's use Ash and Lily, right? With Ash and Lily, it's very clear that Ash has impacted Lily. We can even see it in the final episode where she says thank you to him. For Lily impacting Ash, it's kind of hard because at that point Ash is kind of complete as like a trainer. So it's like she doesn't really impact Ash enough, but you can say through Lily, Ash gets to experience more of Alola, so he gets to see more of it. Same goes with like for Ash and Misty, where through Ash, Misty's able to be more optimistic, I guess, and more like she's more of a go-getter, I guess. And then through Misty, Ash learns that water types indeed beat fire types. That's what Ash learns through interacting with Missy. It makes it sound like I'm hating Missy. It's just that Ash is dumb in OS.
Yeah,
It makes it sound like I'm not hating on Missy. Ash is just dumb in OS.
It is something you have to keep in mind of like what kind of Ash you're writing. Like the companions I would give Ash in Kanto are not the ones I would give him in Alola. That's kind of the thing. So it's like,
yes.
However your Ash, like, you kind of have to measure companions by what stage your Ash is at. But like, it's sort of like, Brock isn't needed in my mind for like my version of XY Ash, because Brock is great because he's there for like the tutorial of Ash, like where it's like he can help him out, kind of keep him from dying on his first adventure while Ash takes in little life lessons, but like Brock isn't needed to be Team Mom in XY, even though in the anime has this thing where it's like, after Brock, there's Silent. Who cooks in XY? It's not
Clement.
Clement?
Yeah, it's Clement. Yep.
It's so weird. That feels like so strange.
it feels it's kind of cool the way they explain it, where it's like, you know how the whole cooking is chemistry thing. I think
Oh.
that's kind of cool.
Hmm.
It's kind of cool. I
Yeah.
get where they were coming from. Also, I think with Serena bakes, and I think that's why you're confused, because she
Yeah.
does bake.
Hmm.
So it's like, I think that's where you're confusing it in your head. It's like, oh yeah, Serena bakes, so
I
you
was
see
like,
her cooking from time to
I was like, why is it the woman cooking?
time. Oh my god.
They know what I'm about. No,
You know,
but yeah,
this isn't my channel.
at least she'd be
They-
doing something useful in that fucking series. Jesus. The
hey, she makes a YouTube video.
yeah,
She makes a YouTube video. She makes a YouTube video. That's something.
yeah. I make a YouTube video. I'm a menace to society. I need to get off the internet. Serena does it, and so she's got
Hey, everyone cheers.
yeah, but like you kind of have to measure your companions by the different stage Ash is in. It's kind of important because it's like, are you showing Ash going through a consistent growth over time if you start like in a Kanto thing, or is it like you're starting with a later Ash, so you kind of got to work with what you got and evolve from there?
Yes.
You know, because I think everyone who's worked like, you know, you, Zach, Zano, like who's worked from a pre-existing Ash has evolved his characters. Um, but the but it's sort of like it's like the different ways you can evolve a character versus like it's like you can evolve Ash from like Gen 4 to 5, whatever, whenever someone starts onward and stuff. It's just like he's learning different lessons than you could be doing if you started in Kanto, you know? Um, but I will say, one thing you like, the most important thing I think when it comes to companions, by the way, why the fuck are they traveling with Ash? And I don't think it's something people think about. They just kind of are like, it'd be. I saw someone once recommend Sabrina travel with Ash, and it's like, on the
All
surface
right.
level, that sounds cool, but like, why is this like super strong gym leader traveling with Ash, you know? And if you do know, by
Yes.
the way, note one thing, guys, when gym leaders travel with Ash, they're not usually like the upper echelon of the gym leaders. Usually they're like either like they have an excuse like Clement who wasn't interested in battling, so he had gotten weaker, or they're like first gym leaders like Brock, they're like fake gym leaders like Misty, you know, or like, you know, Silent as
Iris is
well.
kind of the exception, is not the rule, because Drayden was there, so you have an excuse on why Iris is not running the gym.
Yeah, exactly. She wasn't established as like the eighth gym leader, and she just so happened to travel with Ash. She was like a fresh trainer, essentially, you know.
Yeah.
But like it's cool
Because
to
even in the manga they do that, because she's like Black's rival in the manga, so
hmm
to speak. So
hmm
even in the manga they kind of don't. They're like, yeah, she a kid. Yeah, don't
hmm
make her the gym leader.
yeah,
Drayden's there.
yeah.
But continue.
Design Spirit is asking, speaking of companions, how can we balance their dynamics and roles in a group, like having both Key and Peele and Bad Boys and trauma bonding at the same time? Not sure about that last part, but
Oh,
you
I get I get what they're asking. Do you want to go first, or should I?
you can go first.
Well, it's more like like you said, how do we balance their dynamics and roles in the group? It's more like, what is everyone's role within like an episode? Like
Hmm.
a really good way to figure out what's everyone's roles in an episode is you have to kind of write an episode that's like a day in their life, if that makes sense. Like
Hmm.
not a filler episode, but not like a super plot related episode. Like, you guys get what I mean? Where it's
Hmm.
like an episode that's like kind of in that would be in the middle of the run, where it's a run of the mill episode, like an average episode, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, how does like who's the active character, who's the reactive character, what is the like not gags, but what is the like. For example, I'll just use my writing as an example. For an example, in Sword and Shield, usually the group would be walking to some place, right? The group would be
Hmm.
walking to some place. Chase would open his big mouth, get the crew into some sort of situation. Ash usually just watches to see what will happen, because at this point he's seen a lot. He can just kind of chill. Elaine is stressing out in the corner, like, "Oh my god, we're gonna die," and Ash is like, "Oh man, I wonder what we're gonna have for dinner tonight."
Hmm.
And then Chase, and then obviously hijinks ensue. But like, you get my point, where it's like Chase usually the person who like causes the incident to happen.
Hmm.
Elaine usually the person who freaks out about said incident. Ash usually thinking about something else, but then will probably by the end of the episode turn up and do the Ash stuff. And that's kind of the formula you go with. So I would say the best way to kind of balance their dynamic is figure out like the average formula for an episode. Where
Mhm.
even in Scarlet and Violet, the average formula for an episode that I have currently is like Ash. We open on Ash teaching a lesson. Maybe Go, or now in season two, Florian says something to Ash that would like incite something. Maybe they would have an argument. The group would split off for the day, and then depending on if it's a Star Barrage that day or if it's a Titan that day, usually the lesson Ash taught will come back for one of the main characters. So that's kind of how I balance their dynamic, where I find out the formula to how they work.
Yeah, like
That makes sense.
the thing I always go to is just like the dynamics, how to easily way I get dynamics for everyone is the like it's my like episode 4 or something. Whenever Ash goes to Erica's gym and stuff, and it's like they enter the gym, there's the perfume in the air, and it's sort of like would everyone react to it? Giselle thinks it smells nice. You know, she appreciates perfumes. Brock probably doesn't care for it, but like, he knows Erica. He's a mature adult basically, or older teen, so he's not really going to say anything even if he doesn't like it. Ash instinct reaction is to go, this place smells like shit. And it's like, okay, cool. You have each of their individual reactions in your head, then you start pairing them off, be like, what's the dynamic there and stuff. It's like Giselle and Brock, they stay very the same because they're both level headed like that, Ash wouldn't, if when he's with Giselle, if he was alone, he'd go, this place smells like shit, and get himself kicked out, and then probably have to cross dress or something and get in the gym,
All right.
Yeah, like the episode, in the anime,
Like
but
an actual episode of canon.
yeah, like the canon. But Giselle's there, and so Ash understands Giselle there, and he's just like, I could say this thing that I definitely mean, but I know I'm gonna get shit from Giselle, so I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut because it's a lot easier for me than actually voicing my opinion, And it's sort of like just taking scenarios and putting them in their them in different pairings and groups, and this applies to characterization all around, not just companions, but like just putting them, in different scenarios can help you figure out how they react and how they, how they differ from each other and how similar they are to each other. It's also like just like along a journey, you're going to naturally kind of figure out, like, I mean, you should have ideas of how, like, what's the goal of each of them. And then from there, you can create the little interactions. Like when I started off the series, I didn't really plan for Brock to be a mentor character for Giselle. It kind of went that way. But like
Yes.
they have a mentor mentee, as he's like, you have a lot of potential. I can teach you a lot. And Ash isn't asking for my help, so I'll help you out and stuff. Giselle looks up to him and really and appreciates the advice and is always going for tips and tricks and all that. It helps. He's a breeder of Pokemon, so he understands the care part of Pokemon, which is something Giselle really lacks. Ash and Giselle, very bickering duo where it's like they can be totally chill around each other, but the minute the other shows weakness, it's very like brother sister dynamic where it's just like, oh, you fucked up, like you said something, you misspoke. I'm gonna rip on you for that, and you're gonna get mad at me, and we're gonna bicker, and like that's kind of the dynamic there. They do care about each other, but like they like to grate against each other's nerves. Brock and Ash, very much like older brother younger brother dynamic, but it's like Ash is more independent, and Brock is like happy to let him choose his own path. Even to Ash's own detriment. And like that all factors into characterization of themselves, where it's like Brock not being active in Ash's development is a flaw on his part, because it's like he knows Ash is fucking things up, but he's getting by, but he's like, he'd rather Ash develop on his own naturally than be like, dude, you gotta fucking train your Pokemon. This is why you just got your ass whooped,
No, yeah, and to kind of add on to that point of like the unintentional like dynamics that can come from it, the original like I always say the like Ash and Lane and Ash and Chase have this sibling dynamic that didn't start out. And I don't think that really hit for me until I want to say mid season 2, beginning of season 3, that era. So it doesn't like you won't get the dynamic right away, but when it hits for you, it'll hit. And then like obviously to add on to your other point of like the companions within themselves can have flaws. Because again, another example, like a very good example, like to bring up from your Brock not like really telling Ash what he needs to hear is that if you notice in Sword and Shield, Ash never tells Chase to stop copying him. Probably because what I would like to believe is the main reason is I just didn't think of writing it at the time, and B, the in-universe reason that I like to believe is that it's Ash's ego. It's Ash's ego, where he's
Mm,
like, "Oh, someone's copying me.
mm,
Might as well let him do it. He's still winning his battles. Might as well let him copy me." But it's more because Ash sucks as a mentor.
mm.
Like he's not a great mentor to like just in general. He's not a great mentor. Like he can teach you stuff, but he won't be. He can't really. There's a word for it, but I just can't find the word.
Mhm.
But I think all you guys get where I mean. Where Ash is just not a teaching kind of person,
Right.
which is ironic because I made him a teacher.
Yeah.
Which
I
is ironic.
this does funnel into one thing where Masoji asked in the community poll of, do you have the companion know their goal from the get-go, or do you have your companion develop their goal in the journey? And I feel like it's I personally always like to have a companion who has a goal from the get-go. That doesn't mean you
Okay.
can't write someone who develops their goal in the journey, but there's two factors to that. There's like the person who like joins Ash and doesn't know what the fuck they're doing at all, and figures out their interest from there. And then there's the person who has kind of a goal in mind, but it changes due to the journey. That second one
Mhm.
there, I think, is nice, and it's like sort of like it's Brock wanting to be a breeder and then becoming a doctor. That's essentially what that second one is.
Mhm.
The problem you'll run
Mhm.
into with someone who doesn't know what they want to do on their journey and develop it,
Mhm.
there's actually no problem with writing that. You just have to do it carefully. Otherwise, you end up like Serena, who's like halfway through XY decides to be like a fucking fake coordinator, whatever they
Mhm.
call them, you know?
Mhm.
Um,
Performer.
yeah, performer. Thank you. So it's like, especially if you're doing a companion who like was like, oh, I'm going to like May is actually a perfect example of how to do that, right? In my mind,
Yes.
where she didn't know what she was doing when she went on her journey. She was like, I guess I'll take on the gyms, and then she discovered contests like I'm going to be a coordinator, and it's like I mean, it was like I want to say 6, 7, 8 episodes it took before that. I can't remember the Roxanne battle happens, or like the Roxanne,
I think
Rustboro
it was
area.
post Roxanne battle. I think it was
Yeah.
post Roxanne battle.
But like you can do something like that as well. That works very well. It's kind of one of those things where it's like you don't want to have a trainer who doesn't know what they're doing for too long, because
Yes.
then it's like it's not an inch, because viewers have perspectives when they look at stuff, and it's not always going to be what your intention is as a writer. They're like,
Yes.
and you might think like, you might be like, I just have to get to this episode and the entire arc will click together. And it's like, sure, but if no one's enjoying the journey along the way, then it's like not as satisfying. There are some
Yes.
story arcs like that, or character arcs like that, where it's like you finally get to that turnaround point and it's like the entire previous thing suddenly becomes so much better and people are like, I can't, that's awesome. I love that, And then there are times they're like, I wish we kind of had this endpoint from the start,
Yes.
Um,
Where like I think I can also kind of jump onto what you're kind of saying, not on the goal end, but more on the writing and arc end, because like I'm talking about certain shit a lot.
yeah. Mhm.
But no, like with we're gonna go with Chase again. With Chase, I remember I didn't get a lot of pushback for this necessarily, but I remember people would often say, "Oh, I wonder when Chase is gonna finally realize he should stop copying Ash. I wonder when he's gonna finally realize he should stop copying Ash." It's when a character actually kind of tells him. Like
Mhm.
no one ever really tells him. Like Alistair tells him, but he beat Alistair. So
Mhm.
like, yeah, what do you know? I beat you. So clearly, yeah, clearly I can keep doing what I'm doing. Until Mustard, someone who's definitely stronger than him, tells him it's not gonna work out. And this is just after Chase lost to Rinto in the last like couple episodes. He realizes,
Mhm.
oh, I gotta do things my own way.
Mhm.
And it's like the arc works because it is a slow burn arc.
Mhm.
Like it is a slow burn arc because it's something I've been doing since I want to say the second gym battle. It's a slow burn arc throughout the entire series because it is his arc throughout the entire series. But it's a slow burn arc. But I think there needs to be a difference between like when you write a companion, like when you write a series in general, you want to figure out, do I want to do season by season arcs or do I want to do one big overarching arc?
Hmm.
where it's like where it's like for X and Y they kind of both sides it, which is why it's why Clement kind of falls off in XYZ, where his arc is in XY, so it's
Hmm.
great there. But when you get to XYZ, the other season, you're wondering where he went.
And that's
Same thing for.
oh,
Mhm.
continue. Finish your thought first.
But Serena has an overarching arc, and while that isn't a problem, the slow burn takes a little too. It's a little too slow to burn. It's
Hmm.
a little too slow to burn.
Yeah.
Where the fact that we're past episode 30 and you're like, what do I do? No, figure it out. We gotta go.
Yeah, because
We gotta go.
up until that point, really all you know about Serena is she like her like I guess biggest character defining trait up until then. And I could be speaking out my ass. It has been so long since I've seen XY, and I'm a known hater. But like her biggest trait at that point is, without her performer goals, is I have a crush on Ash Ketchum. You know,
Mhm.
or at least it's the thing about her that stands out the most in comparison to anything else. Um,
Also, oh, do you want to? I was gonna read a question, but do you also want to
the
start it?
the one thing I would add to the Clement point you made and stuff is that like
Yes.
you can have characters with short term arcs like that. You know,
Mhm.
the thing you just have to keep in mind when you go about that is that after their arc is resolved, they have to be interesting enough characters to like not draw that attention of like, well, this character just kind of fell off afterwards. You know, it's like it doesn't mean they have to have arcs. The way I always equate it is to how I make Pokemon teams, where like for Ash's Kanto team, Golduck and Ninetales, overarching arcs in the series, you know, but like Golduck's arc is wrapped up and stuff, and he's taken his place as like team leader, and you see him interact with the Pokemon and kind of try and keep everyone in check, and that's fun, you know, especially when you hear all the Pokemon talk to each other. So it's like, you know, that's how I keep Golduck interesting, even though he was gone. He's, you know, changed from the simple, dumb Psyduck to like the guy having to keep everyone's heads on straight, you know? And in comparison, you have characters like Tangela and Cubone who are stagnant characters. They'll have episodes where they'll be challenged, but you're never going to witness Tangela or Cubone go through a character changing arc like that, where like they change on such a level. Like, you know, Ninetales went from, you know, I'll kill anyone on sight to I reluctantly enjoy being on this team and I'll fight with Ash, you know, like I care.
Mhm.
And that's a major character shift. Golduck going from dumb Psyduck who can't even swim to like the team leader after Beedrill left. Major character shift. Tangela and Cubone are always going to be Tangela and Cubone and stuff. So it's
Yes.
like when you have like whether someone completes an arc or whether they're a stagnant character from the get go, they have to be interesting enough that people don't mind it.
Mhm. Also, look, I want to answer some questions from the chat.
Mm.
Uh, so could a simple goal? Wait, no, this is not the question. No, speaking of companions, this is from Design Spirit. Though not regarding them, can we write a single rival for the whole group, or can you imagine a damn single hater for the whole damn group? I think when it comes to companion rivals, one of two things. Like, if they're like a coordinator, they definitely need to have rivals because if they don't, why do we care about the contest? Like
Hmm.
outside of them losing, like they definitely need a rival then. But also, it's like it just gives them other characters outside of Ash to interact with, which I think is very important. Where it's like one of the best aspects about BW, which is like I remember people used to hate on BW for this, which I never understood, is that people said there was too many rivals, which is like such a lame complaint to me. Like it's a
Hmm.
lame complaint to me. Like I get if you're not like a fan of like Georgia or if you're not a fan of Burgundy as characters, that's fine. I don't think you should be fans of them. But saying that there's too many rivals, especially in the series where we get like tournament arcs,
Hmm.
feels kind of wrong because you get all these cool interactions. Because yes, while you can have like companion rivals for like Iris, that rival can interact with Ash and maybe they interact with Ash differently.
Hmm.
Again, back to a personal example for me, like in the Sword and Shield series, while Chase's rival is Bede, and Bede constantly like antagonizes Chase, Bede is very chill with Ash. He actually respects Ash a lot because Ash is a champion, so it doesn't really make sense to antagonize Ash. Like it wouldn't make sense. But it's like that's a different interaction than just like it's not Ash's key rival, it's Chase's key rival, but you still get the interaction there. It's why I think XY kind of fell flat because Ash never really interacted with any of Serena's rivals, at least
Hmm.
like throughout the run. Like I don't think Sawyer and Serena really talk to each other all that much.
Hmm.
Like the tournament arcs were a big part of why I love BW, but like
Mhm.
not even before this becomes a BW appreciation
Yeah,
hour.
I
Uh,
I will say I think Diamond and Pearl actually does a great job of this because Paul has
yes,
different
it does as well.
dynamics and interactions with May, Dawn, or not May, with Ash, Dawn, and Brock. You know, where like,
Mhm.
and I could be misremembering as always, but like he's a lot
Mhm.
more respectful to Brock, and he's much
He
more
is
antagonistic to Ash and much more dismissive of Dawn, which pisses her off.
Dawn.
That's like
Yes.
that's just an Ash rival that is like, you know, that has those different interactions. And but like speaking on companion rivals, Nando doubles as both a rival for Dawn and
Yes.
Ash, and he's not confrontational like that, but like he does perform that job very well. He's probably more contest oriented, but also then you have Conway, who was like a Dawn centered character, but Ash still fought him in the league and they've had interactions.
Yes.
It's not like, if I can't name a character right now, but it's like it doesn't feel weird that Ash battles Conway. It feels interesting.
Yes.
Um so when you're writing these like rivals to companions, one, you measure it by their goals. Some people don't need rivals, so to speak, but they're always good. Like, for an example, there's the Georgia Iris dynamic where it's not like either of competing for gym leaders. They're just kind of competing for strength. Georgia's a dragon
Mhm.
buster. Iris is trying to be a dragon master. So you have that conflict. So overall, if you were writing those two, what you would have is over time they fight across the journey, and you can see them get stronger, facing off against one another. You can see like Georgia get one up on Iris going into like training to really try and beat Georgia, discovering something, whatever. Like you can like use battling as a way to measure like people who have more nebulous goals as
Mhm.
like in the same way that Ash measures his strength by the gym battles, in a story.
Mhm.
Um for I one of the interests for Quiznos, could a simple goal work for example,
Yeah,
if I
let's read
made
that one.
Wally a Hoenn companion whose goal is simply learn to be a good trainer and thinks traveling with Ash will help him learn and expand his horizons? 100%. That's what I'm doing with
Yeah.
Giselle. You know, it's just one of those things where it's like it's kind of an arc you can probably do once or twice. I think like you can have like
Yeah, you can't really spam it.
if I wanted to repeat this arc rather than because Giselle is a very like intelligent character. Like she's book smart, but she's not street smart. That's how I kind of do it. Or like in terms of
Mhm.
Pokemon training is the best way to put it. Like she's not like, naive to the world. It's really she just she failed at the battling aspect and she failed at the like caring for your Pokemon and bonding with them aspect. So that's what
The
she's
best
been
way to
learning.
explain No, I was gonna say the best way to explain Giselle is
Mhm.
imagine she was like a dog trainer. She knows a lot about the genetics of a dog, but she doesn't really know about like the physical like body language of a dog. And I think that's
Right.
the best way to explain it.
Exactly, and stuff. And it's like if I were to repeat her arc for another companion, I would probably do someone who's more gung ho, who's kind of dumb a little bit, who's definitely dumber than Giselle because she's very intelligent, but like is more like more impulsive, leap straight forward into this thing and gets in trouble because they're not thinking. Kind of like
Mhm.
how Ash when he resets, like he's like, I'm gonna just chuck a
Mhm.
Pokeball at this thing and see if it fucking works.
Mhm.
Um, but like it is an arc you can do definitely. The
Mhm.
uh the
Guardian,
yeah, I was about to read that
yeah,
one too.
yeah. How do you write a smart and cocky companion without being a jerk or annoying, or is like not to stretch go? Intelligent characters that aren't wise. What I'm saying is like silent or bro. Okay, I know what you're kind of saying. I think the issue that I like am kind of confused with the question is like the cocky part, because in order to be cocky, you kind of have to be somewhat of a jerk. Like I feel like those two are kind of just synonyms where it's like, but I get what you're saying. Where how do you write the smart guy without him being annoying? Well, like I feel like an easy way to do it is have them being eager to share their knowledge and not to talk down to people. Like
mhm,
if you want to write them that way, where it's like, you brought up Silent. Silent is always eager to like teach people. Like that's one
mhm,
thing I know. He's always eager to teach people about their Pokemon because he is a connoisseur. So he's always eager to teach people about their Pokemon and how they can better bond with them. So I think that's where it comes from, where they have a genuine eagerness for like knowledge and wanting to teach people rather than, oh, I'm smarter than you because I know this. And this is coming from the guy who self-admittedly my go is a bit of a jerk, who has to learn to not be a jerk. That's his arc. He has to learn to not be
Mm.
a jerk, at least in season one. At least in season one, parts of season two. But do you have anything to add, Dolly?
I would say, like, so specifically in the Giselle versus Max part. Um,
Yes.
I think Max personally, he's a character I love. I think he is mischaracterized and overhated by the fans because he's a little kid. And the reason why he's overhated is simply one, people are very Ash defensive. Anyone who mocks Ash, people, and isn't like cool like Paul or something, people are immediately on the defensive of that's a jerk. I've experienced this in my own series where people are like, Erica was really kind of mean to Ash. And I was like, this kid's a dick. He was an active jerk in that fight. Like he was just like, man, I'm just doing fucking awesome. And she's like, how is he winning this? He's not even like doing things correctly, and not even in like a, oh, he's a unique trainer. It's like this this is almost luck. I don't understand. You know, he's taunting her actively, and people are like, just Erica's like mean. And I was like, she just kind of didn't want to get up from her pillow and battle and stuff. It's like everyone here has definitely done a job where they're or like had school where they're like, I don't want to get up and do this. You know, like it's just a funny thing. But like with the difference between Giselle and Max is one, I mean, Max is a nerdy little kid. Giselle is a cute girl. You know, that's one aspect. There are character design. This actually kind of plays into Sophocles, where it's like of the Alola gang, Sophocles is probably the like least favorite of all of them, to the point where some people like or like he's the worst, you know, he doesn't need to be there. It's like Sophocles does well in that group. He has actually good episodes. He just doesn't have like, you know, the way I'll put this and stuff is like an attractive character design, you know, like it's just like people like looking at pretty things. And so when they're not, it's stuff. If you're looking at like a nerdy little kid like Max, you're not like going to give him the benefit of the doubt compared to a cute girl like Giselle. But also like, Max just doesn't have Pokemon with him. That's kind of another aspect. It's a lot easier to kind of warm up to someone who's a bit of a jerk on the Ash crew when they have goals and stuff they're striving for. Like Max has great episodes and he has great dynamics with everyone in the group, and he's not always annoying and stuff. It's like it doesn't even like last that long. Like, he'll have some annoying moments throughout, but like, you know, I mean, this is also the season where Ash is a jackass.
That's why I was like, Ash is also cocky and a jerk.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't feel too bad for AG Ash whenever something bad happens.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know, he kind of deserve this.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's so it's like, you know, character design is an aspect. Having Pokemon with the person that they can actively train and like strive for more helps. You know, little kid companions are very hard to write, because there's really two ends of the spectrum where you kind of have boring little girl character like Bonnie. And I say boring not because it's like she's horrible and doesn't deserve to be an XY. Like, you know, I mean, I personally would replace all the XY companions, but really just Serena. But the problem with Bonnie is that like she doesn't really evolve anywhere. Like her character is little girl, which is fine. And it's fine. In my opinion, it's just boring to me. I think it lacks sauce. It's like, yes, she does have squishy and she has like stuff that involves her, but like, randomly. Is the chat alive?
Oh, snap. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, can you hear me now? It wasn't you. For some reason, my internet just kept disconnecting and reconnecting. I don't know what the fuck just happened.
Okay, so I thought it was me. Okay.
No,
All
you're
right.
good. I don't know. Hey, stream, are we alive? I know we probably lost a bunch of viewers because shit just happened, but let's see. Are we back?
On my end.
Yeah. You know, says my stream quality is excellent. You know,
It says your shit was what?
says my stream quality is back to normal.
Okay.
Let's
Please turn me cut out.
see. Go to my channel. I'm just seeing if the chat's advancing.
Yeah. They said we're back.
Okay, cool.
Okay, sorry guys, sorry for that.
Yeah, my internet decided to reconnect and disconnect like 5 different times. I don't know why the fuck that just happened.
Okay. Well, let me, because there was a question I wanted to, like, I guess we just pick up where we left off. There was a question I really wanted to read. Oh yeah, because this was a question that someone asked in the YouTube community post, so I figured that we should answer this one. How do you handle a big gang like Alola? And then the person in the community post also asked, "Oh, how do you make all the Alola gang matter?" Uh, so to answer the first part of that question, how to make the Alola gang matter is more of like give them more episodes with Ash and like unless you want to like reconstruct Sun and Moon as a series, you kind of like I would say, oh, give them all arcs, but in order to give them all arcs that are like kind of serialized, you'd have to reconstruct Sun and Moon as a series. So it's like you if you want to make them all as important as Lily, guess what? Everyone got to get an arc, and that would change Sun and Moon as a series. So
yeah,
but
like
to answer the
continue.
I'll go first.
I
No, I was gonna say
yeah. No, you
no,
officially
go
go.
first, go first. Okay. To answer the whole second part of the question, which was the how do you handle a big gang like Alola? It's more to just give them all something to do. Where it's like I think Scarlet and Violet, unironically, is the best generation for this. Where one group of the companions can focus on the star missions, one group of companions can focus on the Titan, and one group of companions can do gems. So it's like you give them all something to do, and maybe like because the academy would be the meeting place where all these characters intersect you could like pair off different characters for like episodes of the day, but like in order of their like purpose in the plot, that's what they're doing. But yeah, you go.
And when it comes to the Sun and Moon group in particular, it's like Lily obviously will always have an important role because if you're going to do the plot of Sun and Moon, whether you're doing the anime or the games, Lily's an important character, especially because without her, Gladian isn't as important as a character. And everyone, you're not going to not use Gladian. You're not going to not use Lusamine or the Aether Foundation or any of that, you know? Because sometimes
really weird Sun and Moon story.
That's the thing. When you're doing a Pokemon series like this, like you don't have to be religious to the games, but like if you're going to exclude, like not doing Aether Foundation stuff, like whether you make them good guys or bad guys, you know, if you're changing up the plot, if you're not going to do any of them, it feels like removing like 3 gyms from an Ash series.
Yeah.
It's just weird because it's a core aspect of Sun and Moon. Especially if you're going from a game perspective. Like there's also subject for change if you're trying to write your own original thing and just doing the trials, whatever, you know. But like when you look at the crew, it's like Lily's always going to have a role. She's always going to be important. Like, and so that kind of, you probably have room in a group of 5 like this, 2 to 3 of them should have character arcs. While the rest remains like not stagnant but solid. You know, Sophocles is a great example of this. Despite people's hatred of Sophocles, like he has episodes where he shines, but he doesn't have this like long overarching arc. You know, like funny enough, Lana has just like great personality, so that's what kind of gets her like along the series without trouble. You know, she'll have episodes, but it's not like she has this long thing. Kiawe is like, you know, can be treated as a stagnant character. He's the rival, so like strength, he is one of the rivals. So strength is an important aspect. So training is very easy to throw at him. But also it's like, he's very respectful and like loves the culture of Alola. You know, it's like, you could see it when like Ash loses his, I can't remember if it was Z-Ring. Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was just the crystal. And he's just like, Kiawe's going to be pissed. You know, but you know, Mallow also like you have relationship with her dad, with her mom, you know, like there's stuff you can do with her, and you could take any of the other characters that aren't Lily and evolve them into longer arcs. It just depends what you do. The one thing I would recommend is that involve Ash with each of their arcs. It doesn't mean you can't have separate episodes where it is Mallow and Lana going off on an adventure, you know, but like. What will like it? We were talking about the other day that like we would when we first saw Sun and Moon, like you kind of would expect Mallow to be the more popular character of between her and Lana. I think it was, and it was like the reason like she doesn't. It feels like she doesn't have as much, but that's just because like a lot of her stuff just doesn't involve Ash like that. So it's like involving Ash alone can just help make things more memorable. And also, like, if
Mhm.
you're like, for me, at that point in my series, Ash will be a very experienced trainer. He will not be Kanto Ash like that, you
Mhm.
know? Um, so like him having like being able to relate to the Lola gang and being like
Mhm.
gone through so much at that point, so he can relate to their struggles a lot or like empathize with like what they're going through. It's like he might not have lost a mom like Mallow, but like maybe that's where you're like maybe his dad's dead, you know, and it's
Mhm.
like something, or it's like his dad's he hasn't seen him in a very long time, and they can bond over that or something. If you really wanted to do that, um,
Mhm.
so it's like it's really like, again, a lot of my ideas for companions really, like, especially for big groups, is the same thing I do for Pokemon teams. Like I said before, like one or two with overarching arcs. I recommend two. If unless you're doing ace stuff, then you can just do one. Like you can measure it out. Someone has more across the entire region arc, like an Infernape Greninja, or they can have smaller arcs, like a Gliscor. Um,
Yes.
so, or even Glalie. Um, so it's really just about measuring goals like that. Um,
Mhm.
I think Dream Tsunami wrote, I know it's a balance of both, but which do you prioritize? Having a relationship between the two companions or the one companion and the main character? You want to touch on that first?
Uh, I usually go for two companions unless like, because here's the thing. I get I think what you're trying to ask is, do you focus on like the main ship between the companions, or do you focus on like them as a group? I don't think there's any reason why you can't do both, because I think we can get into shipping actual companions in a second. But like
Mm-hmm.
I think I would prefer going with the group as a whole, because if you just focus on, let's use XY, if you just focus on Ash and Serena, Clemont just kind of feels like he's there in a
Mm-hmm.
bad way, where it's like, what do I do? Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
better if it's a whole like group. Like, it makes more sense if it's a whole group, because the whole group is traveling. They're all like main characters, or they're
Mm-hmm.
all like, it's Ash is the main character. They're both secondary characters. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like it'd be weird because like Ash and Don have a dynamic, but Ash and Don and Brock also have a dynamic. There's a dynamic there, if that
Yeah,
makes sense. So it's
it's
like you would want the group to have a dynamic. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, on a friendship angle, I would say like you want to always. I agree with Samurai, where you always want to establish the group dynamic first, because that is kind of the key to the group. Like whether it's
Hmm.
Ash and two companions, Ash and three companions, or Ash and entire five companions like that. It's like that dynamic is what's kind of going to carry you through the series, and then you can kind of trickle it out. Like I think that the relationship between two companions together, more from a friendship angle, is just as important as the relationship with Ash. Now, like Ash is always mostly going to be people's main focus, whether you're a viewer just viewing a series or whether you're writing a series. Where Ash is the protagonist. Ash is always going to be kind of in the star power. So,
Hmm.
like, you want to make sure you have those moments between him and other companions. But like,
Hmm.
I think I show off, funny enough, I do think I show off more of Brock and Giselle together and their dynamic than I do Ash and Giselle or Ash and Brock, which is funny.
Well, I think that's more just because the way you write your episodes usually have like the formula of like Ash goes off to do like either train or find this one Pokemon that is gonna eventually be added to his
Mhm.
team. Giselle tries to train with her Pokemon. Brock gives tips while holding egg.
Yeah, exactly. I The one thing I'm going to empathize. There's actually one thing I wanted to touch upon, because the questions come by a bunch of times, but and it was
Yeah,
in the community post, but it's like giving Pokemon to companions.
yeah.
Um,
I'm surprised we never brought that up yet. But yeah.
yeah, because that is an actually important thing and stuff. And the way I go about it for myself personally is number one priority is always the Ash team, because those are the
Mhm.
Pokemon I draw. They're the main Pokemon that get arcs and character development,
Mhm.
and it doesn't mean you don't have to do you don't do nothing for the others, but like the companion Pokemon, unless it's like they're integral to a character's arc, are never going to get as much of a focus unless it's like
Mhm.
Sandshrew has like a fairly developed personality for a Pokemon that's not appeared that much when it comes for Giselle
Yes.
Sandshrew, Like And that's just by process of showing her off with Sandshrew or Sandslash now, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
the way I go about, like, when you're giving companions Pokemon, you don't want to go crazy with it. You measure it by their goals, in my mind. Like, if someone's a
Mhm.
coordinator, 5 to 6 Pokemon's pretty solid, because not only is it like good for just like, it's fun for the viewer because people like seeing people catch Pokemon. They like seeing who gets added to
Yeah.
the group like that, you know? Um,
Yeah.
but the other aspect, I think, is that, like, you know, when you're doing contests and stuff, like, you want a diverse group of options so you don't repeat the same performance over and over again and stuff. It's the same thing with like
Mhm.
you treat it like an Ash team, essentially, where it's like you want Ash to have options when he goes into gym battle, so it's not Pikachu, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle going in every time, you know?
Mhm.
Um the um but when it comes to side companions who don't have that, like, you know,
Mhm.
contest or gym oriented goal, I think 2 to 3 is a pretty solid number. You know,
Yeah.
I like, and if we speak mostly from a YouTube series angle. When you have a lot of Pokemon, that's a lot of space on screen that gets taken up. Like, I love that I made a giant Arbok, but man, is it fucking annoying to have him on screen a lot. You know, like,
I mean, for me, it's a little easier because I just use
mhm.
the like images and renders from the official Pokemon,
Right.
like Bulbapedia and stuff. So for me, it's a little easier. But no, I definitely, when it comes to like companion teams, I think what you want to look for is somewhat of a form and function. And sometimes you want to, like, sometimes you kind of want to, I guess the best way to say it is like Digimonify it,
Hmm.
where it's like, do the companion Pokemon either complement them or contrast them?
Yeah.
Where it's like a great example here. Uh, Chase has an orbital, but
Hmm.
Chase, if you know his character, is kind of the opposite of an orbital. But that's the point. It contrasts him. But at the
Hmm.
same time, we can go over to like Go in Scarlet and Violet right now. Go has a Clodsire, which sounds like it should contrast him, but when you realize Go's battle style is more methodical and slow, having a Pokemon that can cause a status condition like poison makes a lot of sense. So it complements him. There's
Hmm.
like contrast and complement, which I think is very important. Also, I think what I like, this is usually my method of how I come up with companion teams. I usually do Ash companion and like companion two all at the same time, just so I can just so if like, oh, is there a theme I want to go with for these teams? Is there like a like I'll sometimes just be looking at the decks, be like, oh, that'd be cool to have on a team, or I would
Yeah.
like to write that Pokemon. And sometimes teams just change.
Hmm.
uh I remember I remember Chase's beta team was vastly different because I think Chase's beta team, he had Grotto. No, I don't even think he had Grotto. I don't remember his beta team. If anything, maybe I'll see if I can find it. I don't think I have it on this computer. But Chase's beta team was vastly different because he didn't have Piplup. I know he didn't have Piplup. I know he didn't have Kubfu. I know he didn't have. I don't think he had Grotto. But yeah, Chase he had Berserker for some reason. I don't know why I gave him Berserker, but his beta team was vastly different. So companion teams always subjects to change when like you discover new information or like, oh, that'd be cool to add on a team. Like I would say when it comes to companion teams, especially, don't be afraid to like switch up the team at like not at a moment's notice, but like if you realize I don't like this, let me just shuffle it around because the companions are like way less, not like way less important, but like a companion team, not as much people are going to complain that you changed the companion team or you gave the companion a weird Pokemon
Hmm.
than they are going to be for Ash. I still get I don't get complaints that I gave Ash a Sandaconda. More people are just confused.
Yeah.
More people just confused. They're like, huh, Ash and Sandaconda?
Hmm.
It's more people confused. No, nobody hates it. They're all just kind of confused by it. I get hate for flipping.
Hmm.
I get hate for saying Ash should have a chestnut, but that's a whole different
Yeah.
conversation.
Hmm. I think especially when it comes to like companion Pokemon, a general rule of thumb I follow is that if they're a monotype trainer, usually I'll stick to the monotype. Like, Brock has like the exception of Togepi, but like, you know, in my mind, I'm like, Togepi can learn a rock move in ancient power, so it's like, you know, you can kind of work it that way in my head. Um but like,
Mm.
if they're
Hmm.
and this is specifically for me, if they're female characters, I tend to try and give a good mix of like, you know, cool and girly Pokemon where it's like, you know, it's not like, oh, it's, you know, and this is a mistake I made when I was making my initial Dawn companion team when I first started my channel like this, where I was just like, all right, Cherim, like Pachirisu, Lopunny, Glaceon, Piplup, and I forget who the fifth was. I think it was Cynical or something still. But like I was like, huh, like I'm lacking the Mamoswine Munchlax angle here, you know, which I really like in the female companions.
No, yeah, like I know there was like this like I saw like a Twitter post about it where everyone's like, "Oh, Pokemon, like I really miss the whole like every Pokegirl has that one kind of creature on their team where it's
Mm-hmm.
like you got the Munchlax, you got the Mamoswine. I guess for Iris, you could say it's Excadrill because I feel like
Mm-hmm.
Dragonite is a different kind of niche.
Mm-hmm.
But Serena never had one, if you ask me. It should have been Northern, but that's besides the point.
Mm-hmm.
It's just,
Yeah. I think
like
no, continue. Continue.
mhm. No, I was gonna say I'm a big proponent of I'm a big proponent of Lana shouldn't have gotten an Araquanid. She should have
Mm-hmm.
gotten an Araquanid. I feel like that would have fit her really well. I really like the whole Poke Girl gets creature kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's why Elaine kind of gets Blastoise. That's what's supposed to be. She gets Blastoise and Venusaur. That's what they're supposed to be. That creature
Mm-hmm.
element.
Mm-hmm. Um there's something I actually want to just Tevin just posted something where he says, I feel like cutting people in Pokemon is basically a cop out because it's too easy. And if you have the means to be able to make them better than the canonical versions, then do so. I highly
Yes and
disagree.
no.
If
I
only
think yes and no.
it,
But you go first.
I'm of the mind that like I don't like using stuff like companions and Pokemon. I mean, my entire channel is built on not using the Pokemon from the original series. And the reason for that is because it's like, could I make them better? Yes. Do I think it's boring to use the same things over and over again? Yes. It's like, I'd rather do something fun and creative where I can challenge myself, like, and make you guys like Beedrill or Tangela than be like, here's Charizard again, you know, but I wrote him better with how I would like him to be. You know, it's like, that applies to companions as well, where I'm like, it's like you can write anything better, yes, but like I feel like if you want to, like, you know, for at least for me personally, if someone came to my channel and they're like, I want to see your take on May or Dawn or Misty, you know, or like Misty if she's a companion, essentially, you know, or the
Mhm,
XY gang because I hate on XY so much. Like
mhm,
I'm always of the mind of like if you want to watch Ash and them go on a journey, go watch the anime, you know, because it's like
mhm,
it's more fun and it's more interesting in my mind to do something unique than it is to do something that's standard, even if you're trying to improve it. You know, it doesn't mean you
mhm.
can't, but that's just of my opinion.
No, yeah, I'm kind of similar to you, where it's like it's more fun to try and do something different. I think like here's the thing: if you're gonna keep the story the same, like let's say you made a DP rewrite and you keep everything the same except you replace Dawn with Lyra, for example, but Lyra's also doing contests. She also has a rivalry with what's her name, Ursula and Zoe. It's like, yeah, at that point, why don't you just keep Dawn if you're gonna give Lyra Dawn's team, Dawn's background, all of Dawn's interactions, Dawn's first. Yeah, just do Dawn at that point. But
Yeah.
it's like if you're trying to do something different, then yeah, I would say go for it because again, it could be fun, it could be unique exercise, and hey, sometimes writing a character gets you to like that character more often. Like I did not care for the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee pro tags until I wrote them, and now I'm like, they all right. They're
Yeah.
not my favorite, but
And
they all right.
the same thing applies to Pokemon. Like I didn't like I liked Dolliv, but I didn't like Dolliv as much as I did until Samurai's Dolliv.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a question that was asked about Team Rocket, which I feel like can kind of fit in the competitive discussion because Team
Mm-hmm.
Rocket's in their weird own nebulous zone.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm having problems figuring out plans for Team Rocket. Jesse James me out to post Jodo. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's probably because there's not much for unless you want to just continue their gag. You kind of have to write them out at some point.
Yeah.
You kind of have to let him go at some point unless you want to just continue the gag. I don't even like writing Team Rocket and Scarlet and they haven't appeared since like episode 1 of season 2. Y'all realize I don't like writing these guys, bro.
Most YouTubers who do Team Rocket don't really enjoy doing Team Rocket. I'm not going to speak for everyone, but at
Every
least everyone I've talked to has at least
Zeno
said they don't like Team Rocket.
Zano says he hates it. I've talked to Zach. He said he hates it. I know you hate it, Dolly. I
No.
hate it. I have to ask some other people if they hate it. But it's like I've never met anyone who's like yippee Team Rocket. It's always
And it's because
these guys again.
because like there's really not much to do with them. And if you want, like, and it's because it's just always their gag. They come, they cause the conflict of the episode, because it's very easy to just have them be the conflict instead of writing something happening, and it's not like that's not necessarily a negative thing. Sometimes that works and that's easy. I did that for my Cubone episode. I made Team Rocket like the conflict of the episode. The thing I always think about is like, some people think like, well, I really like Black and White Team Rocket early on where they're serious. And it's like, you can do that, but like there's so many admins and like evil team members you can just use instead,
Yeah.
like where you can do like people would rather like, I mean, like, I think from the perspective of like using Team Rocket as more serious, like more people would be more interested in seeing Proton or something, or
Yeah, Proton.
yeah, or any of them, like any of the Team Rocket admins do something, then like the Team Rocket trio be serious. If only because from an outward perspective, you're just like, oh, it's interesting. They're using the game villains and stuff. Like we haven't seen that in the anime.
Like like for me, when I did the Chase OVA episode when he's in Johto, I brought back Domino from the Mewtwo Return special, right?
Mhm.
Just like as a random Team Rocket member, because Team Rocket's probably more prominent in Johto and Kanto than they are in any of the other regions. So
Mhm.
it's that as an example of you can still use like the Team Rocket organization if you really want to, but like
Mhm.
Jesse James and Meowth, they kind of run their course really, really quickly. Like that's kind of the thing. Like
Yeah.
especially because we're not writing like you're not writing episodes of a TV show that's airing weekly. You're writing either a YouTube series or something going on like AO3 where you have to physically write like the individual episodes. Like they're gonna get old after 5 episodes.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the love people have for Team Rocket, because I mean I like Team Rocket as a group, as a trio. I think they're fun. But the episodes I draw upon my love for them, it's the episodes where they're not being Team Rocket. Like when Meowth and May travel back in time and it's very sweet, or when Jesse's doing contest, or when James says goodbye to Chimecho. It's like the episodes where Team Rocket are just being chill dudes, or normal people, are the reasons why I think most people like Team Rocket. Like no one really gives a fuck when they're like, oh, they're stealing Pikachu for the 8th millionth time. Or when they are like in Sun and Moon, I really like them there. It's like, yeah, because you like their interactions with their Pokemon and the episodes when they're not being Team Rocket and when they're with Beware. Like you're not like, I don't think I've ever met someone who goes like, yeah, I like Team Rocket because of all the times they're trying to steal Pikachu.
Mm. No,
Uh,
yeah, for sure. And it's just Team Rocket is always just like it's always just like interesting thing. I would love to see a series where someone really likes Team Rocket. Like I
mhm.
would love to see a series where like fandom said he just likes Team Rocket. So like fandom, if you whenever you
Yeah.
post your series on YouTube, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
I'll check it out. It's like I'm more interested to see because
Yeah.
like Team Rocket for me is just such a drag where it's like I just like there's just other things I'd rather write in the series where it's like Jesse James, they're just not what I like to write. It's not that I don't even like writing gags. It's just that they're just unfunny to me. I'm not a Rocket in canon.
Mhm.
So it's like for me it's they're just there. But yeah,
Mhm.
like as for how you write them in a Johto series post Kanto, you have to make a decision. They either stay the same or they leave. And that's really all you can do.
Um, Design Spirit writes, a concern I have is that sometimes some anime exclusive characters have features of the game characters, like Trip having Sharon Straits and Paul resembles Silver. How can we differentiate between the two? Well, I think a big part of that is there are some characters where it's just like you're gonna just have to drop someone. Like there's some characters
Mhm.
where they're very one for one. Like I don't think necessarily Charon and Trip are one for ones of each other, but they both encompass the same vibe in a lot of ways where
Yes.
you might want to just pick one or the other. Silver and Paul are very like they have some resemblance, but they're very different. Silver is a literal fucking criminal who is like
But also
with daddy issues of Giovanni from Team Rocket, like Paul just like wants to be a strong trainer and he's more competitive about it. It's like they both encompass like a similar attitude sphere, but like, Paul, like I'm a Paul fanboy, so maybe I misconstrue some stuff, but like other than
What?
Chimchar, the rest of Paul's Pokemon vibe with him. They are all about
Yeah.
his training methods and everything he does. Chimchar just can't hang. He's the bitch in this scenario, you know?
But
So
also,
so
but
like,
also at the same time,
yeah.
I think you wouldn't. I also think at the same time, I would never put Paul and Silver in the same series
Right.
where they're both like rivals because not even that they're the same person, but
Mhm.
more like they're probably going to serve the same purpose in the plot.
Yeah, exactly. Because at their core, what makes them similar is the bond, like their bad bonds with their Pokemon, you know, or they're like, you
Yeah.
know, and it's different, varying levels.
Granted,
Like, you know,
yes.
like Silver is a literal like, if you're not strong, you're trash to me, you know, and
Mhm.
it's like Paul's like that as well, but he's more selective about it. Like, I don't think anyone's under the impression that Elekid was some like high level Pokemon when Paul, you know, when he first appeared in Sinnoh. You know, he was as basic as any other Pokemon of that level, like a new trainer type, you know. But
Mhm.
like Silver is much more like I would rather catch a super strong Pokemon off the bat. Paul at least will acknowledge the potential of something to grow stronger, and if it doesn't meet its
Yes.
expectations, then he'll ditch them. You know, but if it's
Yes.
like Elekid probably showed him initiative, and he was like, "All right, I can work with this." You know,
All right. Yeah. I think. I think as well to kind of. I think as well to kind of like add on to that, where it's like because do you wanna announce that second thing that we were gonna do next week
yeah,
or
let's go for it.
because we're already
Because
talking about
someone was
yeah,
mentioning
so
Yu-Gi-Oh earlier, so
we were gonna do a rivals live stream
yeah,
next week. So
hmm
might as well talk about it a little early, I
yeah.
guess. 'Cause I feel like we got most of our companion thoughts out.
Mhm.
Well, we didn't really talk about companionships, but
We
do you really want to talk? You guys want
we
to hear
can
that?
there was one someone did post a question Firespark in the community notes did post this is for a personal take on Ash. If I want to have one of his companions keep going along with him and develop any romance between them after said region, what should I do? Be it Misty staying with Ash and then growing closer, or one of the many movie only characters? The thing I would do on that is you can definitely make that work 100%, especially because you're having someone travel with Ash, you know, like the real problem you'll have is you have to have that companion have something to do with every region, you know, and have
Mhm.
it not get stale. Um,
Yes.
and I think when it comes to selecting who it is, like think more about the relationship you want to write and the relationship
Mhm.
between Ash and this female character first,
Mhm.
rather than going like, you know, Misty's the default, she's the first, so we'll just roll with her the entire time, or it's like whoever basically makes it earliest, you know.
Yeah.
Um, because one thing you want to establish if you're writing romance between Ash and a companion is you want them to be a, you want them to exist as characters before they exist in a relationship. It should not be that they're, you know, they exist together as a relationship and that is their dynamic. Like they should have
Yes.
some relationship beyond romance, at least at first, whether it is, you know, enemies to lovers type bickering or something, or it's they're just friends to lovers, you know, stuff like that. You don't want to probably jump into a relationship off the bat because you want to show the audience, why do we give a fuck about Ash? Why do we give a fuck about this female companion? Why do we want to watch them together go across several regions?
Yes. Where it's like because I don't have any companions that like I ship
Mm-hmm.
Ash with in my writing.
Mm-hmm.
like like the only one that like kind of makes sense is like Chase and Janine, but even then like Janine is like a companion's companion.
Yeah.
So she'd be like a tertiary companion. So but like that's a ship that I've heard some people say they ship in like under my videos. And it's more like their relationship comes about more due to the fact that they are just Ash and Misty, but like two
Mm-hmm.
again, where it's just a better dynamic of those two where they do bicker, but they do care for each other over the course of their like journey. So it's like that's kind of where it comes from. And it's I think when you do companionshiping, you always wanna, as Dolly just said, you always want to make sure you have a good base and then you can add the relationship on top. That's not to say that that's not to say that like oh having one character having a blatant crush on another character can't work for like humor or like motivation because that's what worked for Serena. So it's like but it just can't be the primary thing. It has to be like a trait, if
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense. It can't
Yeah.
be their primary trait.
Right, exactly. this is a little off topic of the shipping one, but Tevin rewrote this kind of one of the worst tropes was giving companions only 1 to 3 Pokemon, and their rivals and other characters have full teams, meaning that they can't give them their all if things are so uneven. It depends a lot in my mind. Like, I mean, like, I think if you're doing coordinators, give them full teams. If you're like doing not coordinators, 3 is probably a solid number. You can push 4. But I think with a lot of the, because he posted a longer version of this in one of the community posts, which is I believe that between XYZ, and Pokemon Journeys is when people started to get tired of several various tropes, which included companions only having between 1 to 3 Pokemon, companions constantly losing the big main competition near the end of their respective series, companions that have a rival but never ever beat them even once, never really finish their rivalry. They manage to finally defeat the rival and they continue on the rivalry elsewhere, but start going back to losing to them again, or having companions interact with and befriend Pokemon, and the writers and directors screw them over by not letting them catch them, wasting a major opportunity to expand their team and making the episode nearly pointless. That's a lot, but I'm going to try and analyze some points of this where the catching thing, you could just have people catch more Pokemon. I mean, like, that's, you know, anything that, like, I mean, you can just have episodes where, like, I think probably the best example of we have them a companion interact with a Pokemon and not catch them is in Advanced with Max and Ralts, or like Max and any Pokemon there, or May with Swablu in that one episode where it's like, seems like she literally offers the Swablu to join her team, and then Swablu's flock shows up and fucks off. And it's just like, oh, okay. But when it comes to rivals losing, and actually this is kind of an important thing, it kind of feels bad, and there's a reason why. Hey, Hogan, stop that. It feels bad because when rivals win their competitions, because usually Ash is losing, and Ash is always kind of lost every region, you know, and it's like, and that's just usually because it's like, you know, he does a little better each time almost, you know. The thing I think about is why the companions lose, or why they in some ways kind of have to lose. One, because like it can kind of feel like, okay, we've completed everything in in this one region, you know, like I've become a contest star, you know, I've done it. I won the grand festival, and then Ash loses to Darkrai, you know. It's like it feels bad, especially because one's a new trainer and the other's not, you know. And it's not like, you know, Dawn or May, you know, aren't like going against trainers that are more experienced than them in a lot of aspects. There are like better coordinators in those competitions that like probably would beat them. And it's, you know, you go to your thing because I'm rambling a little.
I was just gonna add on, like, to also add on to the point. I think two things that a lot of people need to kind of not understand, but like when you're writing a series, you don't have to follow the rules of the anime. You are allowed to do your own thing. The anime is just a really good baseline, and also two, with the whole like companions losing like their big thing of the season, like whether it's Serena losing the master class or Dawn losing in the finals. I think what people need to understand is like the Pokemon, like these are also characters. Like the same way Ash has to learn the lesson of there's always someone stronger and he always wants to explore the world. The companions also need to do that. And I feel like this is going to lead on to the companions post Ash conversation that I want to have.
Yeah.
But like to kind of recenter it back, like they need to, like, them losing isn't a bad thing in my head, because it's more just like it's their first competition.
Yeah.
They made it really far. That's actually really, really good. Now they get to explore the world and like get new Pokemon and get more experiences and like maybe win the next one. And like they need to kind of like, I feel like a lot of people, like, because of how the anime works, like the world kind of revolves around Ash, and I get that for a story perspective. But I think a lot of people are like, when you're writing, you need to keep in mind, oh, the world's gonna keep on going whether or not Ash is like in that area or not.
And that plays it
Like
into the like when people are like, why didn't none of all of Ash's friends show up for his world champion match? And it's like, because the world doesn't revolve around Ash. Everybody has lives. Everybody has
Yeah,
other
like
things
the
going
story
on.
does, but not
Yeah.
the world. Like I don't know
Yeah.
how to explain it.
Yeah, it's like and it's how I write my Ash Ketchum. He is not the chosen one. He is not like people are like is Ash gonna fight Giovanni? And whenever they say that, they mean in a Team Rocket sense, not in a gym leader sense. And it's like
Yeah.
Ash has no interest in fighting the evil leader of the team. He's also 10. He's not going to be defeating like the biggest criminal in the region on his first go around, Like it's an active world. The league is like, man, there's Team Rocket around. Well, we better wait for a 10-year-old to come defeat him instead of being like, Lance is like, I'm going to go figure this shit out. Elite Four, go do stuff. It's
Also, to answer Grenko's question. Oh no,
Mhm.
you're still talking about
No,
that.
go
No,
go
I was gonna
go.
ask. So no, to answer Grenko's question in the comments, in the chat, real quick. Then say if someone wrote Rosa, whose goals become the best actress in PokeStars, is it acceptable for her to have a team of 5 or a full team? I feel like if you're doing a team of 5, just do the full team. I feel
Yeah,
like if you do 5, you can do 6.
yeah, exactly. And here's the thing. What we're saying is not law. Like when I
Already
say
passed. Not,
when I say I only have 3 Pokemon for non-coordinator like companions like that, doesn't mean you can't do more. It's just like the reason why I usually don't is because it can be harder to manage.
yes.
Like a lot of the things we say, like if I'm writing a fan fiction story, I would ignore a lot of these rules. I mean, I give my main characters 10 to 12 Pokemon in those stories, and I can manage all of them easily. And they're in one region and stuff. Like, I would never give my Ash 10 to 12 Pokemon who all matter in one YouTube series. Like, the mediums you write in will affect what you do. Like, a lot of our advice is, a lot of it is writing based. And then but a lot of that writing is for YouTube series where it's like you're going to visually display stuff on screen and you're going to be, have a certain number of episodes and you're trying to write, episodes to draw people in. And it's not like a chapter by chapter where you can have stuff,
Yes.
go through. So it's like none of this is a hard or fast rule. It's just a management thing. It's like when people post me Ash teams and they list off 15 Pokemon for his Kanto adventure. It's like, that's cool. You got to make cuts. Like you're not like you're not going to be able to manage 15 Pokemon and make them all interesting. You're just giving them to him because like you want him to have all these Pokemon. But like people always complain like, I wish Kingler did more. I wish Muck did more. I wish we saw more of one of these Pokemon. And it's like yeah, continue.
No, I was gonna say yeah for sure because like even me, I run into this issue where it's like we can talk about Ash's Anaconda and Ash's Urshifu. If I could go back and rewrite Sword and Shield, the way Ash's Urshifu would not exist and Ash's Anaconda would have been a permanent member of the team, it would have been the most swift. I would have gotten back and hit me over the head, remove that line from the script, be like, Ash's Anaconda actually stays with the team, and Urshifu is stinky, and I hate him. Like that's like to put it into perspective, like when you make an Ash team or like even a companion team of more than 6 Pokemon, someone is gonna get the short end of the stick just due to the fact of like just due to the fact of what's his face? Just due to the fact of like not everyone can get an equal slice of the characterization pie.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah, some people have to be stagnant. Some people just have to be interesting personalities. Like even when I write my personal stories, not every Pokemon has a grand arc it goes on. Some Pokemon are just solid characters. That is it and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where like, it's just like, I know everyone has ideas where they want to use every idea they have. And it's like, as a writer, if you're going to be doing stuff, you got to know when you got to look yourself in the mirror and go like, hey, I just can't use this idea. It's a cool idea. I love it. It's not functional in what I'm writing here. It doesn't blend well with anything else, and that's just
the one thing I will say.
Process.
No, continue. The one thing I will say, never delete an idea. Just kind of shelve it because you never know when it can come back and help you.
Yeah, exactly.
Never delete an idea because it's always going to come back around in some way, shape, or form that might help you out in the future.
Right.
Where it's no, continue.
No, I was just agreeing with you. Continue.
No, I remember when I first did Rento in Sword and Shield, a lot of people were like, oh, are other Journeys characters of the day gonna pop up? And I initially had the idea of like, yeah, that would be really cool. Then I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. But now
Mhm.
lo and behold, in Scarlet and Violet, Go and Chloe are there, Regina's there, like
Mhm.
like you could always reuse an idea in the future. You just might not be able to do an idea in the moment, and that's okay.
Yeah. And Mohammed wrote, how do you balance screen time between Ash and companions? I mean, it's a lot easier when you have like a group of three altogether, including
Three, yeah.
Ash. Um, and it's one of those things where, like the way I always go about it is usually I'll have an A plot and a B plot. I'll have an Ash centered plot and I'll have a companion centered plot in episodes, usually, you know. And for the moments where, like, there are some episodes I'll do where it's like, this is a Giselle centered episode and that is it. And this is an Ash centered episode and that is it. Or this is a Brock centered moment, that's it. So it's like, you really measure it out by like, you kind of just think about it as like a plot and a B plot and stuff. What someone else is doing when Ash is off doing something. There are times where Ash is just training and that's all he's doing. And you can like touch on it, but you don't really need to focus on the episode. Instead, Giselle or Brock is the focus, for me. So you just kind of measure it out like that. I will say though, Tevin just wrote, nobody ever gives Ash a Pokemon that can fight and be a healer. I don't think that I've seen that once. Usually because like,
Probably. No, you go first. I think we're gonna say the same thing.
no, go first because I'm just making sure my dog's not eating stuff.
No, let's chill. That's usually because most battles in the anime are single battles, so it's like you never really have the opportunity for one Pokemon to be a healer. And even then, they kind of tried. Torterra had synthesis. The problem is that they just didn't know how to write Torterra, so like it kind of didn't matter. So it's like, it could be cool, but like the only application I could really seeing it being used is the same application it has in real life, which is double battles or tag battles. But again, how many double or tag battles are you going to get per series? No, I'm not related to Samurai Jack Triangle. I wish though. I wish I'm not that cool.
The and
Uh,
also a thing. Hang on one second. Take over. I gotta check something.
no problem. All right. By the way, guys, if you have any questions about SV the series, feel free to ask them because you guys always ask Dolly about his series. You guys can also ask me about my series because I can be self-centered sometimes. I can be selfish sometimes, not all the time though. Like heal the team. Like no, I get it. I get it, like a Pokemon that heals the team. I just think that like it's very similar to like as an example, Light Screen or Reflect, where a lot of people want a Pokemon on Ash's team or
Mhm.
want to write a Pokemon on Ash's team that uses one of those moves. The problem is it kind of ruins right. It's not that it ruins the writing, but the problem is it kind of like it doesn't what's the word? It doesn't really like when you're writing it, it doesn't really flow as well. And then I think if you have a Pokemon that just heals the team, it kind of removes the whole
Mhm.
risk from the battle. Not even risk, but drama from the battle where it's like imagine Ash versus Paul in the Sinnoh League, and then like Ash just sent out a Pokemon that healed the whole team. That would kind of ruin the whole like
Mhm.
intrigue of that battle. Is there any Ash companion that you hate or dislike?
Mhm. I program them well.
Anyone that I anyone that I hate or dislike? Uh I don't hate Koharu. I'm more just
And
meh on her. Like
indifferent.
I don't. Yeah, I'm viciously indifferent. I don't hate her like I used to. Like I used to hate her, but now I'm just like I more feel bad for her because she just
Mhm.
has nothing.
Yeah.
But
I will say one
mhm,
thing on the healer Pokemon route. I once had someone suggest when I was making, when I was doing the initial concept of XY teams, they're like, Klefki, it gets a lot of support moves. And it's like, um, it's kind of one of those things where it's just like support moves are great and all, but like they're really hard. One, again, like Samurai said, like you're not really in a lot of double battles. And even then, it's sort of like they could be fun as a concept idea, but like when you're doing a YouTube series or when you're writing the flow of a battle, they can kind of like just slow it down or like make the pacing weird, And it's just like if you have a Pokemon that's kind of like has those healer moves and stuff, especially if most people do 4 moves only for Ash's Pokemon, like the anime, it's like you're kind of just taking away a slot for a more interesting attack that they could know for the sake
Yes.
of like heal pulse or something, where it's just like I'd rather like I don't like cool Gardevoir with heal pulse would be great, but I'd rather give it mystical fire.
Unless like but like the only way to make it work is you have to make a trainer that like their whole thing is like those heal moves, but again that's not Ash. And
Mm,
then the only other way I could see it working is if you did some sort of battle factory episode where
mm,
Ash gets like all the battles are double battles and Ash gets rental Pokemon. But that again, that's the only way I could see it working. When you see how you have to add like three things in order
mm,
to make it work.
yeah.
Uh,
And
let me see. Okay,
there
I've
no continue. Actually, let me check one more thing. You take over because I know they got questions for your series in that chat.
yeah, no, that's what I was about to say. Let me lighten around these things. In the SV series, Ash is the Southern Storm. What are the other nicknames? Uh, do I want to reveal it here? Uh, well, yeah, no, this won't tell you who the characters are. You might get an inkling as to one of the characters, but I don't think you'll know who the other two characters are. So Ash is the South Storm. We have East Diamond, South Storm. Uh, we have the Northern Scarlet, and then we have Western Crown. So that's all you're gonna get. That's all you're gonna get. If if you figure out the characters by that name, DM me and I'll tell you if you're right. uh, Flipping from Greg Cole. I just have one question right now, Samurai. What made you decide on Iron Valiant for Ash? To be honest, I really wanted to do a Crocodile-esque plot line because I really loved what Crocodile's plot line was in BW, where it's a Pokemon that Ash had a dynamic wish that he didn't have yet, and that followed him for a while. I really wanted to do that kind of arc. As for why I chose Iron Valiant specifically, it's probably the only Pokemon I could see doing that, where Iron Thorns, like just for the future paradoxes, Iron Thorns and like the Hariyama paradox one, I couldn't really see doing that. Uh the flipping what should I call it again? What's his face? Uh it's Iron Thorns, but there's another one I'm forgetting. Sandy Shocks, I can see doing that. That's a past paradox Pokemon. Iron Treads, Ash already has Donphan, so it's like it'd be pointless to give him another Donphan clone. But like the reason why I went with IV is because it had Ash's closest it's the closest battle style Ash has to Ash. That Ash knows it's a lot of people want Ash to get a Gallade, so it's kind of me giving Ash a Gallade. That's why I went with Iron Valiant. And then I think yeah, no, that's all the questions for me specifically.
Yeah.
Is there a Pokemon I want to see? There is a Pokemon I want to see more of to do something that they don't let him sit in the box and be homeless. It's Venomoth. Yeah, yeah, I
Mhm.
would like to see more Venomoth.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more Venomoth. I like Venomoth.
Um.
You can always
No, continue. Continue. You were saying
you
something.
can always make some shit up like using flame charge to heal yourself. Yeah, you could, but at the same time, here's the thing for me. Like you can BS it a little bit, but the thing with BS, and this is such a weird quote, the thing with BS is that you can only do so much before it's just a different thing. Like you can only do like, oh yeah, flame charge heals me, but like you can only do that, and then like you can only suspend your disbelief so much.
There,
Like
you can bend a
they
move, but if you change it too much, it no longer is the move.
move exactly where it's like okay, like for example, because we're going to use kind of flame charge. Like when Ash first got Charcadet because it didn't have flame charge off the bat, the way I had it being used is because Charcadet had stage fright. Charcadet spinned and used Ember, and then like that's still Ember and spinning because we've seen Pokemon do that before. He's essentially just using a physical fire spin, but like it's still Ember. I'm not changing the move too much. He's just spinning as he's doing it. But
Mm-hmm.
like having flame charge, a damaging move, heal you, I feel like is a lot. Whereas like would the flame charge Pokemon use like flame charge on a Pokemon with flash fire, and
Mm-hmm.
then that flash fire Pokemon got a boost, but then again that's still in a double battle kind of format.
Yeah. It's like I try and I will be getting way more creative. Like actually, Jinx is a perfect example for me, where it's just like
Mm,
I turn Ice Punch into a Kunai Strike, and it's just like you know, it's essentially at its core, it's still I hit you with a physical ice attack from my fist. It literally is just like I transform the ice that usually just surrounds my hand into a kunai because Jinx is a weeb. It's
yes.
like there's like Jinx has a lot of attacks that are like used differently, but they're still in the realm of possibilities of what you could do with those attacks or as a Pokemon Jinx could do. So it doesn't feel like, like Jinx isn't going to use like, stab herself with an ice kunai and heal.
Mhm. Okay, to answer Maham's question, and that's be why did you give Ash a small lift? Uh, this more goes for like the team aspect of Scarlet and Violet. I don't really see Ash with any of the Paldea starters.
Mm-hmm.
If you'll notice, he doesn't have any of the starters. That's because like when I was writing it, I couldn't really like I could kind of see him with Quaquaval.
Mm-hmm.
I can maybe see him with like Floragato. I don't know about what's the Meowscarada. I can kind of see him with Floragato. I can see him with Fuecoco, but it wasn't striking to me like Cinderace and Inteleon were. It wasn't like, oh, boom. It was just kind of, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I gave him small lift. Also, because I figured out like when I played Scarlet and Violet, I really liked Dolliff's design, and
Mm-hmm.
then I was like, oh, it'd be really funny if Dolliff, this Pokemon that's kind of frail, had this go-getter s personality. Again, I think I literally describe it as like personality of Scraggy, but the battle style of Snivy. So it's like I found that really cool. Plus, it's been a while since I gave Ashley Stubborn Mon in the vein of Swallow and Scraggy. So and then, are you planning to do Winds and Waves after SV? I have to see what Winds and Waves does, but right after SV, I am not doing Winds and Waves. I'm doing Pokemon Masters the series because that's what I've been building up to. But I want to see what happens in Winds and Waves before I tackle any stuff that happens in Gen 10. I just want to see more that comes out.
Sort of got about
But
to
yeah, those are all the questions.
turn to goddamn Michael Vick with these dogs. And the
Someone has a pitch for you in the comments. The Battle Factory pitch.
Oh yeah, no, I read that over. It's one of those things I'll have to consider when I get to Battle Frontier of how I'm going about that. That's so far in the future. It feels like it's like, oh, it's only Gen 3. It's like, man, I've taken me over a year to write Kanto.
No, that's the thing where it's like when it comes to writing series and sequels to the series, uh just pace yourself. Like honestly, figure like when it comes to writing a series and like writing what comes after,
Mhm.
figure out if you just like want to write the next
Yeah.
like series. Like make sure you finish it and then you like think to yourself, do I want to write another one? Because when you write another one, you're starting back at episode one. You're not starting in the middle of the run. You're starting back at episode one and you have to rebuild up.
Yeah, like I put clear jump off points where it's like I can end my entire thing at Gen 2 or Gen 4 and feel like I have a completed narrative, you know? And then I would do like sequel videos of literally like this is what I planned and this is what the story was going to be for these regions. So you don't have spectacular Spider-Man syndrome where you're just like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. But no, that's
Mhm.
but no, I think like when it comes to writing like Winds and Waves or like what you Dolly when it comes to like writing
Mhm.
Hoenn, it's one of those things where we'll kind of get there when we get there.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Where I think
we'll get there when we get there.
no, really. And then I think one thing that I think a lot of people need to kind of not put into their heads, but like one thing that a lot of people need to kind of like you're not gonna enjoy every part about writing your series. There are gonna be zones when you're writing a
100%.
series where you're like for me, I did not like it's not that I didn't like writing SV season one, but it's more I wanted to get to the stuff in season two and season three because that was the stuff I really like to do.
Mm.
But if I can't get to that spot unless I do this, and
I
there's always gonna be those zones where you don't like writing.
like I'm with you. Like I really like the Blaine battle I've written for the episode for tomorrow. It is still taking me fucking forever to edit this episode. It is just like a combination of like I'm so fucking tired of Kanto, man. Like there are some things where I'm like I have to include this and I just don't feel like it's a boring part of the episode for me, or like it's not boring as an episode, but it's just a lot of work where it's just like like dude, I don't want to do the fucking Mewtwo movie, but I know if I set it up, it is literally like one of the linchpins of my series. Same with like the, Orange Islands where I need them, but it's like I'd rather not do the Orange Islands and just go straight into Johto, but like I need the Orange Islands.
No, like for sure. And it's like you're only going to be better for it because like I do look back on season one and I am like kind of it's crazy to say I'm nostalgic for season one when I wrote it like last year,
Mm-hmm.
but I do look back on season one like I enjoyed the like because like for every season for like every series of the anime, not just YouTube, but for like for just like for the stuff that we write. I feel like you're never gonna like. I feel like the early series will always have a good vibe. I don't know how to
Mm.
explain it.
Yeah.
Where it's like there's nothing like early BW. There's nothing like early XY. There's nothing like early Sun and Moon. It has a very particular vibe where you're just new. You're as new as Ash the region. You're learning stuff about the culture, and
Mhm.
like even as we're writing the like what I like to call the first 6 episodes of my Scarlet and Violet series is like the Welcome to Paldea arc. You just get to see Paldea. You get to see new Pokemon. You get to see new characters. So everything is new.
Mhm. And it's also like, man, it's like just when you're near the end of a series, sometimes it can feel like a slog when you're not like. It's also, I think, the way it's just, first series can always feel a bit better than like some of your later ones when you're writing them. Is just for the simple fact of like it kind of as you write multiple Ash regions, your stories are going to have to evolve and get different and kind of get more complicated as you go on. Like the
Yes.
story of XY is so much more fucking complicated than Kanto. Like Kanto's just Ash goes on a journey, he sucks, his Pokemon are great though, they get him through it, and at the end, he's like, man, I wasn't that great of a trainer, was I? I gotta learn from that. Like it is
No, yeah, for
that's
sure.
Kanto. That's all Kanto has to be, and it's all it's going to be. Like it's like there's set up for other stuff. There's stuff I'm not gonna go into, but like Kanto has to be simple for me because it's a fresh Ash, and
Mhm.
it's one of those things where like I'm so fuck. I want to be a Johto so badly, Samurai. I just want to be a Johto. I miss Johto,
no,
Samurai. I miss it a lot.
no, for me, I'm very excited to write not champions, masters when I get to it because there's a lot of ideas I have. But like Scarlet and Violet, like you guys are gonna hate me by the end of season 2. I feel like y'all gonna hate me by the end of season 2.
Mm,
But like Scarlet and Violet is necessary to get to like masters. And also, just wanna because I know I have like some of my fans in here. Why do y'all like Sword and Shield? Why do y'all like that? That shit, that was garbage. Ugh. Every time I have to watch a season 1 Sword and Shield episode to like just go back and make sure I'm like keeping stuff in continuity if I want to bring back something. I'm like, ugh, people watch this.
no,
Ugh.
I do also like Triangle just posted it. I'm tired, boss. It's like, well, that's too damn bad. Like that.
I'm
It's
tired of this
yeah.
movie. That's too damn
It's me talking to the YouTube algorithm behind me.
bad.
Like you guys don't know, it takes me like a month to get these episodes out basically, and like part of that is just fucking welling up the energy to work on an episode. It is not always just like I have like 3 more scenes I have to do that. Like I got all my battles done yesterday, so like today I'm finishing up all the other scenes for the next episode tomorrow. But like, man, is it like, it's like I'm getting it done fairly quick. I'm fairly casual today, I'm in no rush. But like, it's like, yeah, I could definitely get more episodes, especially with how shorter they are, done quicker. It is just a merely of like, there's so many like parts of the process of making an episode that you guys, when you start doing your series, you'll realize where you're just like, it's a natural stopper for you where it will stop you in your tracks. Like the minute I record my audio and I realize I have to edit audio, I'm like, I need to take a day. I don't want to even look at an audio timeline. Like, I was still shocked yesterday when we were on a call with Zano, and he's like, wait, you guys edit audio? And I'm like, wait,
I don't.
you don't?
I edit my audio, but it's very like it's very just it's just like putting normalization on and just like cutting out all the gaps where I'm like like
Yeah.
it's that's it.
This is, I posted on the screen for the chat. I was like, guys, this is what my audio timelines look like. Like, it is so many cuts. There's so many cuts between all the lines. And there's so many different takes I do. Why do I do this to myself, chat? Why?
Money.
Mrs. Puff, I'm tired. I don't want to pass the driver's exam.
Uh, P96822S. I want to do. I want to do an Escavalier that belongs to Serena as a
Ew.
Carablast and Ash as a Shaman. They trade, and the symbolism is that Ash is being a knight and Serena's like a ninja. Well, I have to know more about your Serena
Mhm.
before I say if it's a good or a bad idea. But it sounds interesting. I have to see more about what that Serena is. Uh, because a lot of his underused Pokemon get better versus on screen time. Yeah, a lot of Ash's underused Pokemon usually get saved by their personality. It's why like I like the BW Pokemon as much as I do because
Mhm.
while they don't have a lot of feats,
Yeah.
they got personality.
Yeah, it's the one thing I said on one of my streams here is what I always say about the BW team is the only thing those guys lack is fucking power. That's really all they lack. It is like they have everything else going for them. They're a better version of the Johto team. They just lack power.
Yes, but no. We announced that we're gonna do the rival stream next week, right?
Yeah. So we'll be touching a
Yeah,
lot
that's why like
on more,
yeah, we'll be
rivals for Ash and rivals for companions, which is why we didn't really go
companions.
too in depth about companion rivals.
Just gonna see if there's any questions that
Yeah.
oh yeah, top three. This is from fandom. Top three Pokemon you would give Ash as a starter each. Top three Pokemon I would give. Do they mean like top three starters I would give Ash, or
I
top
think
three Pokemon that I would
I
give Ash to start with?
I treat it as an in general. Like it doesn't have to be
Okay,
starter because I mean if it's like top 3 starter Pokemon, like I mean I would take it per region, but like
okay. For me, let's see here.
I'm gonna shut
I
my
could
dogs
see
up real
Ash with
fast.
no problem, no problem. I could see Ash with an Apex. Aside from that, I could see like a Minchino for Ash. I feel like that would be cool. I'm trying to think of all the. I could see maybe Jangmo for Ash starting with it. I could see that being cool.
Come here, Wally.
But yeah,
Come
those
here.
are the top three. I guess I would start with. I
Um,
was originally inspired by this one Samurai Arc video, Dollywop and Samurai Trainer Z. You should watch it. You can get some idea. I don't know how to tell you this, Kevin, but I talk to Alex all the time. Actually, Alex is one of my best friends. I talk to him a lot. Some would say too much.
hold on. Where's the step? Yeah, Aleximo is a part of our friend group chat that we're in all the time.
Like,
That's funny. That's very funny. Um, yeah, Samurai's known Alex longer than I have.
yeah, like Alex is one of my no, my sister came to me and asked me for a charger. I don't have it for her. But no, like yeah, no, we talk to Alex a lot. Like some would say too much, but no, still he made really good videos when he made Pokemon content. But like he's taken a bit of a sabbatical from Pokemon content. Yo, if I could, I would subscribe to you again, Samurai. Oh, thanks. Thanks. No, you don't have to donate your entire bank account, though. That would be no. You don't have to do that. Because I would spend the money on commissions for the series, so we could actually get like other characters drawn. So Regina's not drawn by me all the time. But that's it. No, maybe I'll just take a Dolly character and put them on the screen. They,
Yeah,
they won't notice.
yeah,
They won't
yeah.
notice.
They don't know I'm secretly a chibi.
They won't notice. No, but I think but yeah, no, I think guys, when it comes down to writing a series, obviously while passion is very important, just make sure you're having fun. Like,
Yeah,
make sure you're having fun because that's why you're doing it. You're doing it to have fun.
yeah. If it starts to feel like a slog, always take a step back. Like there are times, like even in this most recent episode, where I was just like, "Do I need a break?" I don't, but like always never force yourself to make this series because especially if you're doing multiple
Yes.
regions, because you're going to end up hating it. And you're going to make a crappier product in the long run because you'll get to those moments in editing where you'll be like, there's this really cool thing I want to do. It's just like, but I could just fucking do it like this and it'll be fine. I don't care. Like, it's like, rather than doing the cool thing.
Also, I would say find an element of your series that you're really passionate about writing. Like for Dolly, it's the Pokemon personalities and the
Yep.
character interaction. For me, it's for me and Dolly were talking about this about a week ago. But
About a week ago,
for me, it's oh my god. No, for me, for me, it's like I like making characters that aura farm. All
It's
my
so
characters
true.
aura farm.
It's so
It's like,
true.
how do we know? Wait, how could you tell this was a samurai character? Oh, Rento's just aura farming for some reason. Oh,
Yeah.
it's one of the two things. How can you tell this is a samurai character? Oh, they had one episode of screen time, or they're aura farming.
Yeah. Samurai is literally like the gateway for me for every character that I like that no one gives a fuck about, or like a good chunk of them. Like, I didn't give a fuck about Rinto or Tobias, and then Samurai was just like, I like these guys, and I looked at them, I was like, damn, they're cool.
Wait, no, the whole thing with Rinto is such a funny story for Rinto. Where Rinto just came about because he just had screen time, and Journey like didn't give Ash a rival outside
Mhm.
of like B, and I couldn't make B the rival for Sword and Shield because she was a gym leader, so it wouldn't make any sense. So it was really just, do I make Lucas just Ash's only rival? Do I make Hop stronger and like make him a Ash and Chase
Mhm.
rival? Like, what do I kind of do to kind of help him? And it was like Rinto's here. The fan base likes Rinto. Rinto has a cool design. And then the genuine reason why Rinto and Rika are siblings. The genuine, I saw some art as I was writing the league, like right before I wrote the league, and I was like, they do look like siblings. I was
Mhm.
like, yo, wait a minute. Wait a minute, let me write this. Let me write this down.
Yeah, this is fire. Oh my god.
How do I make my Pokemon comic move that doesn't make them look stiff? Hmm.
It in my comic move that doesn't make them look stiff. It's that's more of an art based question. I think you just got to look
No, you
into
got this one
you got to look into tutorials, look at actual comics, and see how they do things.
for sure. Doll, you got this one.
Yeah, and
I
it's like
also draw, but you
I,
got this
I
one.
draw, but I don't draw action stuff like that. I animate it through After Effects. You know, it's like I'm still
I
learning
was
to draw that
thinking.
stuff. So it's like one of
Quizzo
those
says
things.
I was thinking.
No,
Mm,
continue,
continue.
continue.
No, I was just reading. Oh, Quizzo says I was thinking of making Rinto a Hoenn rival to Ash and reveal him and Wally to be brothers. That's also fine because he also looks like Wally. There's just a lot of green haired characters in Pokemon, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you guys. There's just a lot of green haired Pokemon. Like, I don't own Rinto. You have to do whatever you want with Rinto. I don't own the guy. He doesn't really have a character that you can really like assassinate. You can make him a nice rival. You can make him a really cocky rival. It's honestly the cool part about him, where you can kind of make him whatever.
Hmm.
The only thing I will say is that he better have that Glade. That's it.
Yeah,
It's kind of the only
I
thing you have to keep.
I mean,
Kind of key.
those little things are fun. Like, I don't know if I'm doing it for when I get to Hoenn or Johto even, but like in my personal Hoenn story, I made Whitney Norman's daughter, therefore Brendan's sister, because I just like the idea because Brendan and his family are originally from Johto. Whitney and Norman
Yeah.
are both normal type trainers. And like they're both known for like a monstrous Pokemon in Miltank and Slacking. So I saw some parallels there that was like, that's a fun little headcanon thing that'd be like a fun fan fiction edition like that. Don't know if I'll do it for the Ash ATR series, but like it's one of those things you can do where it's like you don't have to make everyone a sibling of something or related to someone like that, but like being able to make those
Yeah, for sure.
connections is fun.
Yeah. I remember seeing a Professor Alex Silver video talking about Ash missing out on getting the Sableye. That's kind of really sad because the Pokemon really needed more screen time during the Advanced series. I agree, but also, Alt Sableye has definitely gotten me to like Sableye more. So
Hmm.
I feel like we've gotten more Sableye stuff recently. But no, I would definitely like to see more Sableye in AG.
Hmm. How many green haired characters are associated with Glade though? Just two.
Two. Yeah,
Yeah, really just two. It feels like a lot more, but really just two.
two. Yeah.
Yeah, and even then,
I
you could
remember.
attribute Wally to Gardevoir as well. Even though I know he uses a
Yeah.
Glade and Oras, but
So my version of Serena would be like a combination of the anime and the game. They would be childhood friends. However, she would be a lot more competitive and give him that drive. Also, the crush would be more tsundere-esque. Okay, that's not bad.
yeah.
That's not bad. You're kind of fusing her. You're kind of fusing her a little bit with Misty, but that's
Mhm.
not bad. I can see the vision. I
Yeah.
can see it. I can see the
Um,
vision. That Sableye used Lick. He can't even move. Wait, Sableye can't learn Lick?
what? Hold on.
I mean, it's not something that like I don't expect Sableye to lick me, but it's not something that like he's like a little guy. I thought he
Yeah.
would. I think the only surprising thing I wanted to do is making Lycia from Oras as a Hoenn companion, and uh, and with the goal of beating her uncle in the one field that he's best at, the beautiful. Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
not bad. I
Hmm.
could see Lycia being a Hoenn companion. I can see Lycia being a Hoenn companion.
Yeah, me too.
Uh, I can see Lycia. This is your shoes, it's not my shoes.
Yeah.
Why not?
No, don't
Listen,
worry. I announced that at one point. I announced that at one point, like on a stream.
Okay.
That's probably
Okay.
safe, but
If they know,
yeah,
then they know.
yeah. As of
I got.
currently,
See,
right now, Lycia is one of the Hoenn companions.
see, guys. I'm trying to make sure I don't spoil Dolly's series. I'm trying to be nice. He already spoils it himself.
Yeah. Well, there are times I'll just do those, like, like before I started doing these, like, usually almost daily streams. Before I would do those one-off random phone streams, and I'd be like, I would just not
Yeah.
list it, and
Yeah.
afterwards, and so I'd be like, fuck it, we'll do a little spoiler here, and then the story just keeps changing as I write stuff. Like, I thought
Yeah.
all the teams but Alola were solidified, and now I'm like, everyone's on the fucking, like, the only solid team I have going on next is Johto, basically, and everything else is up in the
Yeah.
fucking air.
Real ones remember when Magmar was supposed to be a part of the Kanto team.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck. Oh, and now people just ask, like, is he going to be on the Sinnoh team? Is he going to be a Magby catches in Johto? I'm just like, there's other Pokemon than Magmar, guys. I swear.
No, there's not. No, there's not. It's Magmarmon now.
Yeah,
He can also.
I
He can
love
also
Magmar,
against one.
please.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They did let Lake be used on all the fire starters, huh?
Huh.
Oh, that's weird.
That's weird. It's weird. Junichi Masuda,
But no,
what's your agenda here?
Yes, Junichi Masuda, me. I write the anime.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say,
Good.
speaking on your point of the whole some characters are related to other characters, I feel like this isn't a spoiler because
Mhm.
I literally confirmed it.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't like outright say it, but like context clues where Serrano in my version of Scarlet Violet is related to Jacinth because they both have French sounding names. And it's like I thought that was really cool because it would explain why Jacinth is like. Because if you play Mega Dimension, you know that Jacinth studied under Diantha, and if you watch my Scarlet and Violet series, you would know that Serrano was Alder's rival back in their heyday. So it would make sense on why they know each other because Serrano. I would like to think Serrano
Mhm.
like lives in multiple regions. Like he's probably rich. He probably has multiple houses, but one of the things I it's kind of soft confirmed that basically Serrano started the Blueberry Academy because he wanted somewhere for Jacinth to learn battling, but Jacinth just got so strong where she didn't need it anymore.
Mhm.
so it's like but no, it's really fun to kind of connect like the Pokemon world like that where two characters can be related that you didn't expect them to not expect them to be related, but you didn't like someone could say it and then you're like, oh, I could see that.
And Jacinth and what's his name? Serrano? Yeah, Serrano.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jacinth and Serrano are both strong trainers.
We know what you're trying to say.
I thought of that joke as you were talking. I was just like, wait.
the only thing that I kind of would like, nothing's stopping me from doing this. Like, I could very much do this.
Mm.
I could very much do this. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on mute.
I was gonna say for Quiznos, when you say Aaron of the Sin Elite Four could be a relative to Wally or Rinto, the only reason people don't do that is because Rinto's a bum, or not Rinto, because Aaron's a bum. Worst bug type trainer I've ever seen in my goddamn life. How is that motherfucker in the Elite Four? Why is he my bug type Elite Four representation? It's just like, man, we could have cool bug type Elite Four members, and we have fucking Aaron. Where are my bug type lovers at? What the fuck? Like, why is Aaron the bug Elite Four? Why can't it be someone cool with sauce? He looks like a fucking dork. Like, goddamn. Ugh. It kills me a little inside to know that motherfucker is the guy, the bug type Elite Four. Oh, the dogs are barking again. Strudel, who wants it? Macargo Strudel. Actually, that seems like it could be a literal Pokemon product. Spicy Strudel. Oh my god. Man. Well, you guys killed on the questions this go around, I'll tell you that much. Oh, Phantom Derek did ask in one of the posts, if I make Brock go all the way to Sinnoh and then be in Journeys, how do I make him not feel repeated? I don't know. I think just like I struggle enough with Ash, who's the main character. Like Brock is a lot harder to write. Like if you're trying to do multiple regions, because he doesn't even really do a lot in the original region he's in. So like if you're trying to take him all the way to like Journeys, like that's just I personally I don't know. See you later, Triangle. What if you give Ash a Pokemon with a Dare personality? Which one? I mean, like, I would go with, like, Kudere or the classic Tsundere. No, the Alola squad is awesome. We're not putting him in jail.
Can you explain to me what a Kundere is?
Kudere is usually in anime, it's the girl with the very, like, cold personality and face. You know, the emotionless girl, usually. But like it's like she doesn't care, but she cares a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, I just needed to know.
I misread Triangle's thing. I thought he said it's the AM. I'll be back, and I was just like, I really. Oh, we've been going a while. I realized.
We've been. We started at 5. It's 7:25 right now. So.
Yeah. Well.
I got everything I need to get.
Yeah, I think we got a good wrap up here. We'll be touching upon companions more in a way when we go over rivals like next week. So look forward to that, guys. That'll be a fun stream. I got an episode premiering tomorrow. Samurai, you have an episode premiering tomorrow?
If everything goes well, yes, you will see something in your notification box. But, you know, let's just say it's a 50-50 shot. But it will be a Samurai WAP Saturday.
Yeah, Samurai WAP. Well, my first name is Jack, so we could be Samurai Jack Saturdays.
You know what? Yeah, you know, hopefully Cartoon Network doesn't come knocking at our door. It's like, what is this?
Yeah, you just see the big C in the end with with limbs. You know, like the guys in the costume. You're just come and take me away. No,
get over here.
You're gonna be watching Teen Titans Go for the rest of your life. No.
You're gonna watch Teen Titans Go, and you're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, it's that and the Powerpuff Girls reboot. But I'm an OG fan. No, why are they twerking?
Why are they twerking? All right.
All
right. But yeah, get your questions ready for rivals, everybody. You know, think about how you want to write your rivals. Think about what do you think makes a good rival? I want to know. Yeah, get that ready for next week.
We'll go over Ash rivals, companion rivals all around. So it'll be a good time, guys. But overall, thank you guys for watching. This has been an excellent stream. Go check out Samurai's channel if you haven't, you know, but we'll talk to you guys later.